We are live once again at Pritchard Municipal Stadium for a 5A Region 1 showdown. The Vigor Wolves are riding a 3-game winning streak and have no plans of letting off the gas. But Williamson entered tonight's contest looking to stop the Wolves' momentum and pick up their first region win of the year. Week 7 action is headed your way with the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Al Wheaton with Corey LeBounty. On the sidelines, we have Kimberly Dunn. And Corey, I guess you could say the pressure is on for Williamson tonight.
Yes, the pressure's on for Williamson now, but when you look at this situation, not only is there pressure, they must produce under this pressure because it's a huge 5A Region 1 game. With that being said, you don't want to put yourself 0-3 in the region if you're the Williamson Lions. Conversely, the Vigor Wolves, they step back into region play. They've not gone through that gauntlet yet of St. Paul's and Jackson, whereas the Williamson Lions have.
They sure have. Last week, we were here as Vigor defeated LaFleur, an out-of-region matchup, and LaFleur had them on the ropes, Corey, but Vigor came through in the end.
Vigor found a way to win that game, and that's very impressive when you look being here at Pritchard Stadium. It's a hard place to win, but somehow or another, Vigor was able to come away with that win. With that being said, I think we're going to have an outstanding football game tonight and look forward to seeing all 4 quarters of tonight's action.
Let's get over to your checklist. Up first, let's look at Vigor. They're the home team tonight at Pritchard Stadium. What do you have on the checklist for them, Corey?
When you look at Vigor's checklist, they must play 4 complete quarters. It's going to be very important. Last week, they didn't quit after trailing LaFleur at halftime. They found a way to get it done. They must also prevent and produce explosive plays. Coach Scott said a run over 15 yards is explosive, a pass over 25 yards is explosive. Also, they must be multiple on offense. We know they like to get in that I formation and run the football, but when you have success running the football, that produces passing angles and lanes for them. You look at the checklist for Williamson on the converse side. Williamson must be the Lion King tonight. They must establish the run game against these Vigor Wolves, limit the penalties, and make the Wolfpack offense one-dimensional.
All right, appreciate that, Corey. There's a kickoff. Williamson went with a little squib kick back to receive. Vigor had Eric Phelps Jr. and Artel Howard, but they never saw any inklings of the pigskin as Williamson pretty much punched the ball right up the middle. So Vigor sitting with great field position. Let's see where they mark it at. Possibly right about the 34-yard line, so Vigor will get it 1st and 10. Let's get Williamson's checklist back up there right quick for you, Corey.
Again, Williamson has to be the Lion King. In order to be the king, they have to establish that run game. They must also limit the penalties. You don't want to see a lot of yellow flags on the field tonight, and they must make the Wolfpack offense one-dimensional, hold them to that running game.
Vigor starts off 1st and 10 in the I formation. And that play looks like it's busted right there. Pretty much had a Wildcat, not a Wildcat, Kyle Walker back at quarterback, and that's no gain. Pushes Vigor back a couple yards, so they're looking at 2nd and long behind the chains already, Corey.
Williamson plays a 3-4 defense. Their defensive coordinator is, of course, Antonio Coleman. He prepped at Williamson High School, went on to have a great collegiate career at Auburn and played in the CFL as well.
So we'll call about 2nd and 12 here for the Wolfpack. Jalen Whitsitt, their star running back, trying to get back to the original line of scrimmage. He's brought down, maybe picked up 1 or 2. Let's take a look at the Vigor offensive lineup. Just talked about Kyle Walker and Jalen Whitsitt back there, running back. Also for them, Artel Howard, wide receiver. James Jackson, number 13. He's a scratch tonight. He won't be playing. And across the front, McKinney, Jones, Packer, Rogers, and Sellers. The Vigor Wolves offensive line, big line, averaging 299 across the front, Corey.
We saw last week as the game went on, they had a shot in the arm by Nigel Schamberger coming off the bench. Hadn't played since week 1. We'll see if he's able to bring that energy tonight also.
Vigor, one of their many formations they like to run. Little dump pass across the middle he comes. Picks up a couple. Sidney Williams with the reception. Let's take a look at the defense for the Williamson Lions. You just mentioned they played at 3-4 with Treywick, Shaw, and Hickbottom up the middle. Jaden Shaw, we'll talk about him later on. He was one of the Crichton Optimist Club's player of the week. And look at the Hickbottom guys, Jeremiah and also his brother, keep you out number 50, Jamal Hickbottom, and as well, Williamson playing a lot of players 2 ways tonight. We'll talk about their numbers across the defensive line, averaging just 213. Very slim on that defensive line. That was a first down by Williams, so Vigor on the move. Walker decides to keep it, picks up maybe one as that stifling Lions defense holds him up.
You talk about this Williamson defense. They come up giving only 9.8 points per game, have not allowed a 100-yard rusher yet this season.
Don't let the numbers fool you. You're right, Corey, only 213, but they're playing great. I had a chance to see them earlier this season against St. Paul's, one of the big players down here in 5A Region 1, and they had a chance to win that game, only lost 9-6.
Did not give up an offensive touchdown to the St. Paul Saints. Had a pick six, and a field goal was only point St. Paul's was able to manufacture.
Second down for the Wolfpack. Back to Whitsitt they go again. That's their leading rusher on the season. He gets maybe two. Take us to third down. Maybe we'll call it 3rd and 4, or maybe a long 3rd and 5 for the Wolfpack.
And Jamal Hickbottom comes up from his linebacker position, 6'3", 225-pound senior. We'll see him a lot tonight on both sides of the football, as you mentioned earlier.
Ball just across the midfield stripe into Lions territory. Walker decides to keep it right up the middle. Quarterback keeper gets the first down. Great block by Howell out there on the edge. And Walker still in bounds, but he did step out right in front of us here at about the 25-yard line of Williamson. Great run by Kyle Walker.
You look at Kyle Walker, he comes in with 22 rushes for only 39 yards on the season. That's because he's been sacked a few times behind the line of scrimmage, but that's one of the largest gains he's had rushing the football this entire season.
So first down, and the Vigor Wolves on the move trying to get into the red zone. Ball right at the 25-yard line of Williamson. Walker hooking up with Williams once again right there in the slot. And he's wrapped up, but he tries to stretch for that first down. Let's see if they give it to him, Corey.
And I like the fact that Vigor's coming out, and they are being very multiple. Breland Franks, 5'11", 184-pound junior safety on the stop.
There's a look at our officials for tonight. Tim Porter, DeMarco Murphy, Sam Farley, Jack Goff, Chip Mayhall, Royce Robertson, and Bill Wiggins. They'll be handling the action tonight. Hopefully we won't have too many penalties. So far, penalty-free at the 9-minute mark remaining in the first quarter. Little jet sweep off to Williams. Can't seem to get his speed together. Helmet comes off, and that's a no gain. Actually, that's a loss for Vigor. Williams brought down and loses his helmet, and actually he's a little slow to get up there, Corey. Maybe lost his mouthpiece as well. Look at him holding his mouth there.
You look who makes the stop on the play. It's number 4, Roger McCrary Jr., comes in from his safety spot, 6 foot, 190-pound senior, has many offers on the table collegiately wise, but he normally wears the number 18.
Sure does.
Who's that masked man that's wearing number 4? It is Roger McCrary Jr.
That's Roger McCrary. Coach Sumter told us his jersey was injured. They couldn't get it repaired, so he had to go with his alternate number. Weather tonight feels real good, 80 degrees. It is a bit humid tonight, 15% chance of rain. I think everyone knows about that as Whitsitt carries that ball close to the 10-yard lines. And the wind is coming a bit out of the east at 6 miles per hour. Not a surprise with Tropical Storm Nate down there in the Gulf, Corey.
No doubt about it, Al. The nice cool breeze that's starting to come right here off of I-65 and the humidity will play a factor as both teams play a lot of players both ways.
So Williams goes out from that jet sweep that didn't have much success. Joshua Washington comes in to replace him at the top of your screen. Eric Johnson at the bottom and Artel Howell in the slot. 3rd and about 6 for the Wolfpack. Fumble snap. Walker trying to save the play. That stingy Williamson defense runs in and shuts them down for a loss.
Good tackle on the play by the Williamson Lions, and we saw that happen last week. Jeremiah Hickbottom is Johnny on the spot. The 6 foot, 200-pound junior comes in with 25 tackles, make that 26, and is going to get his 6th sack of the season.
4th and long for Coach Derek Scott of Vigor. Decision time here. They're going to go for it. Not much of a kicking game tonight, so the wind is playing a factor. Walker takes a snap, going with the quick little bubble screen, and Eric Johnson is wrapped up right there at the 25-yard line, Corey. But we do have a flag on the play. We want to try to get our impact players in. Let's take a look at this flag and see what it's about. Tim Porter down there sorting it out with the rest of the officials. They are discussing some things here. Wonder if this may be of benefit
Personal
to Vigor.
foul.
Personal foul against Williamson, Corey, so that is definitely going to benefit the Wolfpack.
Looks like it will continue to remain for fourth down. We're going to see if the sticks do move. I'm not quite sure if it's going to be enough.
Don't think it's enough. Don't think it's enough.
Play. Personal foul. Face mask on the defense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal line for a replay. Fourth down.
So Vigor gets a few of the yards back, but it's still fourth, and we'll call it maybe about 8 yards here. Set up in the I formation to Darian Dell in the fullback position in front of Whitsitt, and we have some movement at the line. Let's take a look at the impact players for Vigor for tonight, Corey.
Well, when you talk about for the Wolfpack, you have to go to Jalen Whitsitt, the running back for the Wolfpack. And with that being said, we saw him amass over 100 yards rushing 1 week ago against the LaFleur Rattlers. Also on the defensive side, Adolph Craig came away with 12 tackles last week against the Rattlers. He'll be very effective when the Wolfpack is on defense.
That penalty was offsides against Williamson. Still fourth down, maybe about 4th and 3 here. Vigor still has the opportunity. They hand it off to Whitsitt. You just talked about him, and he's going to be short. I had a chance to talk to Coach Sumter before the game, and he told me, Corey, we have to play smart. We have to keep ourselves in check, no mistakes, and almost gave up a first down right there. So ball over on downs to Williamson. Let's take a look at their impact players while we have a chance.
Yeah, Roger McCreary Jr., we just mentioned him. He has several offers along with his teammate Jamal Hickbottom. Jamal Hickbottom's the 6'3", 225-pound senior that we mentioned. Both of these young men will play both ways. We'll be calling their names a lot. But I tell you, folks, Roger McCreary Jr. is special. If he gets beyond the line of scrimmage, you can look for him to turn it into turbo speed. Both of these young men have verbally committed to South Alabama.
They've been playing ball together since they were 12 years old as well, so they definitely know each other's game. Handoff to McCreary, and he gets a couple, maybe about 4 or 5 on the play there. It takes Williamson to second down.
One of those situations where Eric Phelps Jr. pushes him out of bounds, but positive yards on first down, probably gains close to 6 yards, going to bring up second down and 4 for the Williamson Lions.
Trips at the bottom for the Lions here as they're looking to spread this out and pick up a first down. Braylon Franks, the junior quarterback, 5'11", 148. Hands off to Hickbottom, trying to pick his way. Gets a block from Franks, and Hickbottom's on the move, Corey. I'm sorry, Roger McCreary on the move. Getting both of the teammates confused there. Roger McCreary and that big run, first down across the midfield stripe for Williamson.
And that's that turbo button I told you, folks. Roger McCreary definitely has. He has 40 rushes for over 305 yards on the season, has 2 rushing touchdowns, also 2 passing touchdowns to his credit. But, folks, when he gets past the line of scrimmage, there are very few people that will be able to catch him from behind.
First and 10 for the Williamson Lions inside Vigor territory, and they're on the move trying to get on the board. Handoff to JaQuinton Shaw. He picks up a couple, taking us to second down.
And JaQuinton Shaw is coming from his running back position. He has 25 rushes for over 200 yards and a touchdown on the season, which is very impressive. But again, on first down, the Lions are getting positive yards.
Yeah, they rotate Shaw and McCreary. Also, McCreary plays wide receiver as well. We'll talk about Williamson here in a second and the numbers that they have. A lot of these names we're going to repeat over and over tonight. Shaw once again with the carry. Williamson comes into the game tonight, Corey, dressing 28 players. So a lot of two-way guys will be on the field tonight for Williamson.
But we're in the 6th week of football, so these guys are used to it. Even though it's very humid tonight, these guys have been going and enduring the humidity throughout the summertime and this early fall period. Desmond Little, the 6'5", 210-pound junior, on the stop from his defensive end position for the Vigor Wolves.
3rd and about 4 here for Williamson as they're trying to continue this drive. As we approach the 4-minute mark, have a stoppage in play here by the officials. Appears to be a false start against Williamson, so that's going to push them back a bit.
And that's one of those situations where Williamson wanted to limit the penalties.
Right.
And so far, that's 2 or 3 yellow flags that have been thrown against the Lions. They don't want to defeat themselves. They want to try to stay ahead of the chains in these situations. We call that being on schedule with down and distance, Al.
I don't know if we have a timeout here, but Tim Porter and the side judge are over here discussing some things with Williamson. Maybe it's a sideline warning. Wow.
That's exactly what it is. He wants to make sure that the chain crew can move effectively without bumping into any of the sideline crew. So he went ahead and issued that sideline warning to the Williamson Lions. Another one will result in another penalty.
So that false start pushes them back. About 3rd and 8 here for the Lions as they continue to try to keep this drive alive here. McCrary in motion. Low screen out to Shaw there. He's got some room, but not enough to pick up the first down as Williamson goes to 4th down.
And JaQuinton Shaw's only 5'4" and 132 pounds, so he can get lost in that tunnel screen that the Williamson Lions just tried to set up. You're able to get back half of those yards, going to bring up 4th and a very long 5.
I agree with you on that, Corey. Have a timeout here. It appears as if Coach Dedrick Sumter is going to call timeout and discuss this. Every possession is critical for Williamson. Let's go down the sidelines, check in for the first time tonight with Kimberly Dunn.
Hey guys, we've been seeing some good movement from both teams so far tonight, and when I was able to talk with the coaches before the game, ask them what they needed to do in order to get the win, both of them said we just need to be consistent. We need to execute in all 3 phases of the game, offensively, defensively, and in special teams. So as this game gets going, we will see if they are able to do that.
Thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate that information. She's right about that. Got to execute tonight in all phases, especially for the Williamson Lions. Limited by players, as we discussed. A lot of guys playing 2 ways. Roger McCrary missed everything. He's the punter, the place kicker, the kicker, wide receiver, plays defense and offense, Corey.
You can see why he has so many offers and why right now South Alabama is very happy that him and Hickbottom both are verbally committed to Joey Jones and the Jaguars.
So 4th and 5 here for the Lions as they're going for it at the Vigor 47-yard line. Little trickeration here. Flea flicker. Frank's trying to escape and cannot. Ball does come out. And let's see who's going to pick it up, but it was 4th down, so they did not get the first down, so the ball will go over on downs regardless.
And one of the things the Williamson Lions have done all season long are the gadget plays.
Right.
They ran a double pass against LaFleur, the first play of the season, and were able to score a touchdown. Ran the same play against the Jackson Aggies and had it called back. That time they were going to go with the old-fashioned flea flicker.
Old school.
And unfortunately, Breland Franks, when he rolled out to his left, didn't have anyone open. It was going to be a turnover on downs anyway. The Wolfpack take over in prime field position.
Yeah, they sure do. Ball at about the 46-yard line for Vigor. Our second opportunity to look at their offense there, led by Kyle Walker. Hand off to Whitsitt, bulling his way up past the midfield stripe, picking up maybe 3 or 4.
Yards after contact is very impressive by both of these teams. There are going to be no arm tackles tonight. You're going to have to make sure you wrap up and bring the ball carrier or the receiver to the ground.
We talked about those winds out of the east by 6 miles per hour here. We're on top of the press box, Corey. Our papers are going everywhere. It is a bit windy over here in Pritchard tonight.
I tell you what, who hopes they catch a good win is this Vigor offense. They're averaging 21.2 points per game. Let's see what they can come up with here.
You just talked about it. They're going into the air. And they get that ball out to Eric Johnson, complete just shy of the first down. Maybe a generous spot as you look across the far side there. Tim Porter's coming up to take a look at it. And that's a first down, Corey. So you talked about it, and they went vertical and picked up the first down with the completion to Johnson.
Eric Johnson comes up with his 12th reception of the season. He's 5'11", 150-pound junior. That's the versatility in being multiple on offense. The head coach Derek Scott said he wanted his offensive coordinator Eric Scott to run.
Walker keeps it, and he is flushed out of the pocket, brought down right about at the 44-yard line, but a flag comes in, so the officials already at work tonight. That's about 3 or 4 flags we've seen in the last last 2 series here.
Kareem Farr does a good job coming up from his linebacker position, 5'7", 168-pound senior, making the stop, and it's going to be called against the Wolfpack.
Appears to be a hold against Vigor, so that's going to push them back 10 yards.
During the play, holding on the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
So ball placed at about the Vigor 46-yard line. 1st and 20 here for the Wolfpack. Walker airing it out, connects with Johnson. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage and maybe a little more, probably about 11 or 12-yard completion there.
And right now, you look at Eric Scott, the offensive coordinator, has found something he likes, some type of soft zone being played by the Williamson Lions. He's finding that matchup that he really likes, allowing Kyle Walker to only take a couple of steps, drop, and get rid of the football very quickly.
Scoreless right here as we approach the just under 2 minutes here in the first quarter. Vigor's second possession back in Williamson territory again. Looking to get some points on the board. Williams back in the game, faced the jet sweep, and Walker is sacked. Back way behind the line of scrimmage. That Williamson defense is stingy, Corey.
Devon Treywick, the defensive end, 6 foot, 210-pound senior, comes up from his defensive end position and makes a huge sack. And what that does is it makes the Vigor offense recalibrate, because now at 3rd down and close to 16 yards to go, it's going to change the dynamic of what you're going to call offensively.
We can go with that, Corey. 3rd and 16. Vigor looking to pick up a first down. Walker connects with Williams. And that is not enough. Actually, probably no gain on that ball right there at the line of scrimmage. They bit generous, maybe gave him 1 yard on it. So that's 4th down, and Vigor's looking to have to punt this ball away.
Antoine Thomas, the outside linebacker, only 5'5", 160-pound junior on the huge stop. It's going to put Vigor in a punting situation. And if you look for the Williamson Lions now, they're going to have a great opportunity for a good return.
DeAnthony Walker back to punt for Vigor. Gets it off. Bounces off to Darian Dale. And look as if Dale is going to down there right about at the 27-yard line, as clock stops at about 15 seconds before the first quarter runs out, Corey.
And coming into tonight's matchup, we thought this would probably be a very low-scoring game.
Yeah.
We thought it would be a defensive struggle, and so far it's held to that tail in the first quarter, 15 seconds remaining. Williamson's had a couple of opportunities on offense. Vigor has as well. Not really a lot of success when you get beyond the 30 or the 25-yard line for either team.
1st and 10 for the Williamson Lions. Ball at their own 28-yard line. Appears as if we'll probably have 1 play run, and then we'll take a break and come back with some second quarter action here. Franks hands off to Shaw. He picks up maybe 1 or 2. So that's going to take us down to the end of the first quarter, Corey. While we have a break, let's take a live look in right now. We're going to be checking out some actions from some of our MCPSS student productions. McGill, Tulin, and Bryant playing down there. Looks like they're playing down there in the eye tonight, Corey. McGill on top, 6-0 right now. And it is the end of the first quarter here at Pritchard Stadium. We're all notched up at zeros.
And getting that quarter done in about 20 minutes or so,
Yeah.
even though we had 5 or 6 penalties, both teams really looked to establish the running game. With that being said, it's going to be a matter of who can play penalty-free football here for the next 3 quarters, because what you've seen by both teams is penalties and sacks have caused both coordinators to change their play script, to have to dial up 3rd and 12 or 2nd and long. These teams are both built for short yardage and positive yards being gained on first down situations.
Yeah, big run by McCreary. That was the spotlight of their first possession there in the first quarter. And I'll probably say on the other side for Vigor, they did move into Williamson Lions territory, but benefited by 2 penalties back-to-back, but they couldn't get that first down to try to get some points, Core.
Similar to what we saw 1 week ago with the Wolfpack taking on the LaFleur Rattlers here at Pritchard Stadium. They drove deep into the Rattler territory down the red zone area, but penalties and sacks caused them to go into reverse. They turned on that light switch in the second half, but all it takes is one big play by either one of these teams, because both teams have explosive playmaking ability.
That's right. We're going to flip the field, and we're going to get ready for second quarter action here at Pritchard Stadium. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Corley Bounty on the sidelines. Kimberly Dunn. You're watching a 5A Region 1 matchup. Vigor hosting Williamson as we get ready for the second quarter here. Second down and about 7 for Williamson, trying to get their offense going. Handoff to McCreary. He's wrapped up way behind the line of scrimmage and takes a big loss.
Frederick Austin, the nose guard, just blew up the play from the beginning. 250-pound junior had 2 tackles last week versus LaFleur, but that play was doomed from the start as Frederick Austin really got ahead of the snap count and was able to blow the center off of the ball and tackle the back in the backfield for a loss.
3rd and long for the Lions behind the sticks once again. Frank's looking over to the sideline to get the signal. Trips at the bottom of the screen here as Frank takes the snap, gets it out to his receiver, and that is all snuffed out, connected with Alexander Scott. But that's no gain on that play, taking Williamson to 4th down, so they did not take advantage of opportunities there, Corey, after the first run by JaQuinton Shaw.
Good tackle by our impact player, inside linebacker Adolph Craig. You look at that replay, and he just comes up and makes the stick. Craig, again, 6 foot, 150-pound sophomore, came into tonight's contest with 22 solo tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and 1 sack.
Artel Howard and Eric Phelps Jr. back to receive this punt from Roger McCreary. They went for it on their first possession, so this is our first opportunity to take a look at McCreary punting the ball. Gets it off. Howell fields it at about the 45 and takes off. He's got room, plenty of room up the sideline. Cuts back to the numbers. Brought down at about the 20-yard line, so great return for the Vigor Wolves there. Sets them up in great field position to possibly get on the board.
That low line drive punt by McCreary never had a chance to go end over end. Howell was able to catch it as the ball did not go end over end. Caught it and had nice blocking in front of him and was almost able to take it to the house. Now the Wolfpack hopefully will not self-destruct and go backwards. You can get it around the perimeter. Running between the tackles has been tough for the Wolfpack. They've had a lot of success bouncing it to the outside, and that's where they've scored a lot of their touchdowns.
1st and 10, ball sitting right at the 20. Vigor in the red zone. Great opportunity here to get on the board. Hand off to Tendarian Dale. Gets 1 or 2. The big fullback there checking in at 6 foot 210 senior.
And on that tag team tackle, Devon Treywick and Jamal Hickbottom made sure that there weren't going to be any more positive yards gained beyond the line of scrimmage. Bring up 2nd down and 9 now, Al.
Wolfpack inside the red zone, trying to get on the board here as we approach 9 minutes remaining in the first half. Hand off to Whitsitt, coming to the near side, near the numbers, getting a great block from Eric Johnson down there. Lowers his head and close to that first down mark. He may have picked it up, Corey.
And that's the success that we talked about them having on the perimeter. The inside run game has been bottled up the last couple of weeks. But where the Wolfpack have success is on the outside, bouncing it to the outside, and that's where blocking down the field comes into play. Now they're even deeper into the red zone territory, trying to put 6 points on the board.
So he did pick up the first down, 1st and goal for the Vigor Wolves, looking to get on the board. Williams in motion. Walker hands off to Tendarian Dale. He's getting closer to pay dirt there, maybe 2 or 3 on that carry.
Tendarian Dale is 6 foot, 210-pound senior, so you're definitely not going to be able to arm tackle him or tackle him up high. You're going to have to go low, and how do you chop out a horse or stop a horse from galloping? You take its legs out from under him. That's exactly what the Williamson Lions were able to do.
Second and goal for Vigor. Artel Howell in motion. Hand off to Whitsitt. No. Stopped behind the line of scrimmage by Williamson, number 13. Jeremiah Hickbottom. That's Jamal's brother, Corey.
And I tell you, there's been a Hickbottom in this Williamson Lion program forever.
Yeah, you're right.
Done a great job that time. Did the Williamson Lions defense do? Hickbottom read it perfectly, and that's going to be a tackle for loss. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and goal situation to go.
3rd and goal. Big call here for Coach Derek Scott of the Wolfpack. Looks like they're going for a little fade route, but no, Walker keeps it. And the Lions gang tackle him right there at the line of scrimmage. Wow, surprised on that one, Corey.
And that's something they did last week against LaFleur. They spread it out the field and hoping that Kyle Walker was able to go ahead and tuck that. I believe that was a design quarterback run to where he looks like he's going to throw the fade route in the corner, but decides to tuck it and take it for himself. Huge stop right here coming up for the Williamson Lions, 4th and goal.
Vigor attempting the field goal here. Eric Phelps Jr. on for the attempt.
.24-yard attempt, Al.
And we have possibly a flag on the play. We sure do. Now, the play clock does not operate here at Pritchard Municipal Stadium, so they keep the play clock down on the field. But it's offsides against Williamson. So that'd be half the distance. Wow, Corey. Will Coach Scott maybe go for this, or will he just take the little chip shot field goal?
Encroachment, lined up in the neutral zone. 4th down.
And you can see Coach Derek Scott calling for the timeout, Corey. He wants to discuss this, see if he can punch it into the end zone. This week during our production meet with him, he talked about he wants to get into the end zone. He doesn't want to try to get field goals as we discuss things over there at Big White's right on Wilson Avenue.
Yeah, that production meeting was very effective for us because it allows us a chance to communicate with the coaches and find out what's on their mind in certain situations.
Right.
We saw a week ago in this red zone situation, just like Big White's Wings is located in the heart of Pritchard, now the Vigor Wolves are in the heart of the red zone area. With those big backs, it'll be interesting to see if they jump into this I formation and try to pound the football in, but wouldn't it be a huge stop for the Williamson Lions if they're able to come away with this stop on 4th down?
Yeah, let's take a look at some scores from last week. We were right here for as Vigor defeated LaFleur. Also, Baldwin County over Bryant last week. Theodore blowing out Enterprise. We all know about the big game right there, 6A, 7A, Blunt and McGill. Blunt took that one on the chin, 22-7, losing. Williamson picked up that win against Rain last week. Satsuma and Citronelle, that was a close win. And also Saraland over Murphy and Auburn all over MGM. Whitsitt with the ball. 4th and goal, comes up short. So the stingy Williamson defense stands up right there at the goal line and keeps Vigor out of the end zone at the 6:53 mark, Corey.
Nose tackle Jaden Shaw, 5'11", 230-pound senior, as well as quarterback Breland Franks, playing from his safety position, made sure the Wolfpack did not put 6 on the board. That's a huge stop for the Williamson Lions. Now they're hoping to get that one explosive play and flip the field, because it may be beneficial actually for the Vigor Wolves if Williamson's not able to produce and flip the field in this situation.
That's right. Williamson backed up right here, ball at about the 2, maybe 3 yard line. As ball over on downs there, 6:53 remaining here in the first half. Frank's trying to escape. He's in the end zone and he needs to get rid of it. He's knocked out of bounds maybe at the 2, Corey. He was way outside of the tackle box. Surprised he didn't just chunk that one away. That was close. The ball did come out as well.
Great pursuit by Desmond Little, number 23, from his outside linebacker / defensive end position on that play, making sure that no more positive yards were gained and the Williamson Lions remain pinned deep in their own end zone.
Second down for Williamson. Backed up way back in their territory, right there against the end line. I'm sorry, right against the goal line there. Frank's getting the offense together.
And Nehemiah Richardson has plenty of space on the bottom of the screen.
McCray fumbles that ball. Corey, that's a live ball. Beanbag comes out. Eric Phelps Jr. there motioning for the safety. We don't know if it's a touchdown or a safety, but the ball came out. Let's see what the officials come up with.
They're going to say he got beyond the line of scrimmage.
They're giving him forward progress, right? And you can see Eric Phelps Jr. there pleading with the official.
It's one of those situations, if we're able to take a look at the replay in the truck, to where his forward progress, like you mentioned, had stopped, and the referees, to protect the ball runner, did blow the play dead. After the play was blown dead, you saw them rip and strip the ball out, and that's where you thought that there might have been a fumble on the play, but there was not.
Third down for the Williamson Lions, still backed up. Had 2 shaky plays there. Handoff to McCreary. He's got some room, brings it out here to the numbers. Gets a bit of some breathing room up to about the 11-yard line.
And I really like the stick by the Vigor Wolves defense. Is you look at the Darius Evans Busby going low on McCreary on this play. McCreary gets the football and he looks to bounce to the outside, and look at the low hit. You're going low in order to chop those legs out of them. Now it's going to make the Williamson Lions punt from their own end zone. We saw a couple of weeks ago Blunt, when they were punting against the McGill-Tulane Yellow Jackets, step on that end line and get a safety called. So it's something that Roger McCreary Jr. really has to be aware of right here.
He gave himself some breathing room. He handles the punting duties. Artell Howard back at about the 32-yard line. Take a look at this punt here coming up from Williamson. McCreary gets a little hang time out of this one. Howell calls for the fair catch. Smart decision right there at the 35-yard line at the 4:05 mark here remaining in the first half. Once again, Vigor, great field position, Corey. Can they capitalize?
What we talked about just a moment ago is if the Williamson Lions weren't able to produce that first down and flip the field, that it may be beneficial for the Vigor Wolves because they weren't able to punch it in from their own 3-yard line. They're going to get the ball now in some breathing room. The play chart opens up for offensive coordinator Eric Scott. It constricts itself when you get down there for the 2- and 3-yard line. There's only so many plays you can call. When you have 35 yards to play with, the playbook is wide open.
Looks as if the spark from last week has entered the game. Number 25, Nigel Schamberger. Williams in motion. Talked with Coach Scott during our production meeting. He said he would play Schamberger this week. Over the top, Walker goes, and that ball almost intercepted by Williamson.
That was a jump ball. Eric Johnson was the intended receiver, but Alexander Scott was the defender. Both players mistimed their jump. As you look, it was a great throw on the money by Kyle Williams. Both players had an opportunity to come away with it. Both of them wind up dropping it, but I like the fact that Coach Scott decided to go vertical on first down. That's what I was talking about by the playbook opening itself up when you're at the Williamson line 35-yard line.
2nd and 10 for Vigor. Scores coming in from other action across Mobile County. Hand off to Schamberger up the middle. He's got some room. Those fresh legs. Picks up maybe 6 or 7 on that carry.
Last week, Nigel Schamberger, like you said, was the spark coming off the bench, getting his first action since the first game against Blount High School. Had 5 rushes for 45 yards last week against the LaFleur Rattlers. Like you said, those legs are very, very fresh, only having played in 1.5 games this season.
Yeah, and we're in week 7 right now. Big play right here for Coach Derek Scott to call. 3rd and about 2, high snap. Walker keeps it. He's got room to get that first down. He does. Gets across the 20-yard line into the red zone and into Williamson territory. But on the field, a flag on the play.
You look at the replay. Kyle Walker handles the high snap, goes ahead and decides to keep it, bounces to the outside. Alexander Scott with the stop on the play. Tim Porter will let us know what the call is after the football looks like it's going to go in reverse and be called against the Wolfpack.
Possibly a hold. I did see the motion against Vigor, and they are walking it back.
But after the play call, you do get a chance to replay the down after the yards have been walked off.
That's
it's
true.
going to bring up 3rd down and about 11 yards to go now for the Wolfpack.
Maybe Tim Porter's mic not working right there. So 3rd and about 11. Vigor has another opportunity here to pick up the first down, keep the drive alive. Little jump pass. Oh, my goodness, Corey, that ball almost ricocheted off into the hands of a Williamson Lions defender.
Ronald Cooper was the intended recipient of that jump pass. You don't see the jump pass thrown that often except in goal line situations, but I saw the tunnel screen being formed, and if Ronald Cooper at 6'2", 215 pounds is able to catch that, then he has a lot of green real estate in front of him.
So Vigor punting right now. Williamson trying to take advantage of this. 2:50 remaining in the first half. Coming up at halftime, we'll have our Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge going great this season with Chick-fil-A. We appreciate them sponsoring that. Ball is loose, gets away from the punter. That is a live ball. Williamson going to benefit from some great field position, Corey. Ball at the Vigor 35-yard line. Wow.
And you talk about flipping the field. Well, that's the same thing as a huge punt return for the Williamson Lions. Just one of those self-inflicted errors that cannot happen. You talked about a couple of possessions ago. The Williamson Lions were in the shadows of their own end zone.
Sure were.
Now they're in Vigor Wolves territory, having an opportunity for offensive coordinator Thamus Davis, who comes in averaging 17.2 points per game as the offensive coordinator calling plays, gives the Williamson Lions life.
Yeah, Coach Derek Scott, I know he's disappointed, told us we need to protect the ball. Did not do it right there. I'm trying to promo the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge, and it's going wild here. Stick around for that. Kimberly Dunn, she'll get a fan out of the stands, ask him a question, try to get him hooked up with a Chick-fil-A prize pack. The Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge coming up at halftime. As we're getting close to it, and JaQuinton Shaw trying to get close to that first down marker, picks up 2 or 3. Clock continues to run, approaching 2:30. If Williamson's going to get on the board, Corey, they got to run speed. They got to run tempo right here.
2 timeouts remaining for the Williamson Lions. JaQuinton Shaw just waits patiently. We said he's only 5'4", so he can get lost behind a lot of those linemen. So you have to have great eye control if you're in the secondary or in the linebacker positions for the Wolfpack.
I believe the game clock operator, scoreboard operator, he has Vigor with 3 timeouts. They've taken 1, and Williamson has taken 1. So both teams do have 2 timeouts remaining. Some movement across the lines there. So we don't know if this is offside. It is a false start by Williamson. Breland Franks pleading with Tim Porter there.
Dead ball, false start, illegal snap, 5-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
So we replay 2nd down. Thanks to our folks over there at Tenderbones. We'll replay them once again for feeding the crew and taking care of everyone. Corey, I saw from a man, my stats guy, T down to the truck. Everybody eating sandwiches and wings tonight.
It was delicious. Want to thank Tenderbones. They got the job done, making sure everybody was well fed tonight.
Also, big ups to our folks, David Boeing Sporting Goods right there at Azalea and Government. We're looking good with the pink polos tonight as we support breast cancer awareness. Some of the viewers may have noticed we were a bit bright there as we kicked off the broadcast, Corey. So thanks, David Bowens, for the polos tonight.
And this entire month being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we all know somebody who is a breast cancer survivor or has lost their life from that. So this entire month of October, we'll probably be rocking the pink, and want to thank David Bowens Sporting Goods for providing us the nice polos.
Sure do. Williamson has made the third down here. Timeout. I believe Coach Derek Scott has called timeout. He sure has. He wants to stop the clock and preserve it, with Williamson sitting at about 3rd and 6. So maybe a smart move on his part, get a stop right here and try to get themselves set up to possibly get a score. We know Vigor, they can be high potent at times, Corey, with some quick scoring ability.
Yeah, they do have that quick strike ability, Al. But with that being said, 1:14 remaining here in the first half of action at Pritchard Stadium. What you want to make sure of is that you secure the football for the Williamson Lions. You have 2 downs to play with. You don't want to turn the ball over and give the Vigor Wolves an opportunity to strike before the half ends.
That's right. Vigor started off the year 0-3 and have won their last 3. You talked about it earlier. They're pretty much getting ready to hit the gauntlet. After tonight, they go up to Legion Field and face Jackson, and got that big showdown with St. Paul's last year. They won that game on the foot of Eric Phelps Jr. field goal as time expired, and that made them 5A Region 1 champions. So this game, we know it's a lot on the line for Williamson tonight, but Vigor sitting right there at 2-0 in the region. So they have a little room, but I know getting this win tonight for Coach Scott would give a little extra breathing room for the Wolfpack.
It was sweet for the Vigor Wolves to beat LaFleur here at Pritchard Stadium, but this is what matters. This gives you an opportunity for postseason play, so none more important than that here at hand.
1:24 remaining, 3rd down. Roger McCurry in motion. They're flinging it out to him. I'm not surprised, and he is throwing it going vertical down the field, trying to connect jump ball pass. Could not get that ball to Breluis Richardson, our first time calling his name tonight. Incomplete. McCree just put too much air up under it, Cora.
Breluis Richardson, also known as Nehemiah Richardson, came in the season having 6 catches, 60 yards, and 1 touchdown. McCreary has an arm on him, but that pass is going to stop the clock, and we're going to see Williamson use their final timeout here on 4th down. They're in no man's land if you really look at it, right here probably at about the 33-yard line of the Wolfpack. You want to make sure offensively, if your name is Davis, that you run a play beyond the sticks if it is a passing play, because the Wolfpack do have enough timeouts left, and that's very important.
Take it down. I'm sorry, I thought we were taking it down to the sideline for Kim there. Let's take a look at. They had a chance this week, Corey, opportunity to host the Creighton Optimist Club Player of the Week luncheon. I was the presenter, and look right there, receiving the award, Defensive Lineman of the Week. Williamson's own nose guard, Jaden Shaw. You called his name earlier this week, Corey, and he spoke some good words at the Creighton Optimist Club luncheon the other day.
Jaden Shaw comes in the season with 23 tackles, 2 sacks, and 4 tackles for loss. So a well-deserved award right there, and the Creighton Optimist Club does a great job of recognizing all the local athletes.
Sure do.
And I know you were very happy to go ahead and attend that banquet, but each and every week they do a wonderful job of recognizing local high school athletes.
They sure do. Had a good opportunity over there, and saw some of the other coaches and players throughout the school system as well. So, matter of fact, big ups to the Satsuma Gators. They had offensive and defensive back of the week for them in their big victory over Citronelle last week. So, 4th down here, and Williamson is going for it, and I believe Coach Sumter's using his last timeout, Corey. As I mentioned earlier, clock operator had those timeouts wrong on the board, so that's his last timeout. Maybe he's doing a little chess match, see what kind of defense Coach Scott came out there with.
And what's important here, if you're the Williamson Lions, is to make sure, again, that you run this play past the sticks, giving your offense a chance to get the first down and continue to extend this play. But if you do get the first down, if you're the Williamson Lions, you have to quickly now get on the football, because you're running your 2-minute drill and your 2-minute offense, quickly trying to score.
That's right. Football not the only fall sport going on in Mobile County Public School System. Congratulations out to some of our county champions right there. Causey Middle, also Lott, the 1A champions. And down in Grand Bay, the 2A champions. All those ladies doing a great job. County champions right there in volleyball, Corey.
Volleyball been going off for about almost 2 months now. Comes to the culmination to where we do have 3 area champions. Congratulations to all the young ladies who proved themselves to be champions.
That's right. So maybe we'll get some action right now. Williamson out of timeouts, 1:15 remaining here in the first half. And it appears as if Coach Sumter is going to punt this. Jamal Hickbottom, the up back, and Roger McCreary, the punter. Corey, I would not be surprised if some trickeration was up Coach Sumter's sleeve right now.
Well, you don't have anything to lose besides field position. You can allow the Wolfpack to go the length of the field with the pooch punt, or you can go ahead and try to allow them to drive 65 yards from where they are.
So they do go with the punt. Vigor did not send anyone back. And the ball is down right there at about the 11-yard line. So to a certain degree, Williamson somewhat does flip the field, Corey.
And now you're going to have an opportunity to see the Wolfpack probably go down the field vertical a couple of times. They have some dynamic playmakers. As we saw 1 week ago, Sidney Williams come away with a huge offensive reception of some 25 or 30 yards. That's the type of explosive play that Kyle Walker can put, and that's the type of speed that's on the field. Artel Howell also has a lot of blazing speed. So if you're the Williamson Lions, you want to make sure you get into the correct coverage defensively to where you don't get beat over the top for 6 here quick.
All right, here it is. Vigor with the ball, 1:15 remaining in the first half. Let's see what they're up to. Change at quarterback. Brings in Jeff Thompson, the senior who started off the year. Appears as if Coach Scott has made the switch there, Corey, and taken Walker out the game, or I don't know if Walker's on the sideline, if we can get a scan there, but bringing in the senior Jeff Thompson.
He's on the sidelines, probably about the 25-yard line. Appears to be healthy, but the 2-minute offense is being run now by the Wolfpack.
Thompson trying to get in contact with Williams. If he could have brought that one in and made a turn, he possibly could have picked up that first down, but that incompletion stops the clock, and guess what? It's third down.
Just like that, it is third down, and some 25 seconds have lapsed off of the clock. If Vigor's not careful here and does not decide to run the football, the Williamson Lions will have an opportunity here with 43 seconds remaining to get possession and have their last strike.
Last time we saw Jeff Thompson on the field, we were out at Baker as they hosted Vigor. That was week 2 of the season. Thompson rolls back, gets outside of the pocket, gets that ball out to Artel Howard. It is complete for a first down, and Howell gets out of bounds to stop the clock. Great pass by Thompson there.
Artel Howell comes in with his 9th reception. He has over 230 yards receiving on the season with 1 touchdown. That was big because it allows the sticks to move. You don't want to try to force the ball, though. Sometimes you come off the bench and make that errant throw. Hopefully the Wolfpack will go 0-0 at the half.
Jose Thompson, I just got to get my arm warmed up. He's going back deep to Howell once again. That is intercepted. Wow, great interception by Alexander Scott. He kept his feet in bounds, Corey, to haul that one in. If we could get the replay on that, that was an awesome interception.
Over the head basket catch did he make in that situation, but that's what I was talking about. You overthrow the intended receiver in that situation. Now you allow the Williamson Lions with no timeouts remaining to get their couple of Hail Marys off. And you know, with the explosiveness of Raji McCreary Jr., as well as you look at the dynamic wide receiver Nehemiah Richardson, they have an opportunity. Alexander Scott just made the interception on defense. He's going to turn around and play offense for the Lions as well.
Sure will. Williamson 1st and 10, ball in their own 32-yard line, 27.7 remaining here in the first quarter. Probably the last 3 minutes, the most exciting we've had of the first half here.
A lot of back and forth action. The Vigor Wolves were turned away in the red zone. The Williamson Lions really haven't been able to get deep into the red zone, but it's still a great game.
So Williamson out of timeouts. I believe Vigor has 1 remaining. Franks with that handoff to Roger McCreary, dipping and dodging and weaving, picking up maybe 2 or 3 as the clock continues to run. And Williamson not in a big hurry here. As we just talked about the last few minutes, exciting, but Corey scores 0-0, but the way these guys are playing, you'd think we'd have some points on the board, but we don't. So Williamson going to take it to the locker room with a moral victory right there, notched up 0-0 as we go to halftime.
You have to be excited in this situation. Even though it's 0-0, we've had a lot of action offensively and defensively. Both teams have done a tremendous job of filling one another out. It's just been the inability to score in the red zone by the Wolfpack, the inability to get into the red zone for the Williamson Lions. Coming in, we knew this would be a very low-scoring game. It looks like whoever strikes blood first or draws blood first will be the winner of this contest tonight.
Right, we've seen some mistakes on penalties, also opportunities where both teams could capitalize, but they couldn't. Right now, let's go down to the sidelines. Kimberly Dunn with Coach Derek Scott.
I'm here with Coach Scott. Coach, how do you feel about how your team's performing so far tonight?
I love our energy and the way we playing and getting after it, but we got to get it in the end zone on offense. We got in the red zone, I think, 3 times and come in with no points. So that's something we got to get corrected.
Yeah, so what else does your team need to do to improve on for this next half?
Protect the ball. Right there, that punt over his head was huge right there. We wanted to play, get him, pin him deep right there and gave him a short field. Defense is playing their butts off, and we got to go and help them out on offense and special teams.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. Coach Derek Scott talked about that with us earlier this week in the meeting. We've got to get in the end zone, and he was in the red zone 3 times, 0 points, Corey.
One of the things we talked about is being effective in the red zone. Last week, they had the same struggle, not scoring any points, but the second half, it was a different story.
All right, it's 0-0 halftime. We're going to come back with some activities right here at Pritchard Municipal Stadium. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Spring Hill Toyota.
As Alabama's first and largest school system,
Mobile County Public Schools prides itself
on the high quality of education we provide our students.
We have been successful over the years in raising our graduation rates
and have been recognized nationally for closing achievement gaps.
We believe that our primary focus is to educate all students to become productive citizens. This is our commitment to them and to you.
I have a lot of great memories from high school, some great experiences. Just being in the Shaw Band was a great experience. With the leadership in my schools, I always felt like they were very passionate about what they were doing. They cared about their calling to teach and to lead the schools. I always felt like they cared about me as a student and my classmates, and they wanted to see us do well and succeed. The relationships that were formed during those years are what impacted me the most. And I would just like to say thank you.
It is an exciting time of change in the world of education, where technology is being used to engage our learners. And here in the Mobile County Public Schools, we're embracing those changes and moving forward into this new era of learning. It's our vision to be the premier educational system where students engage in multiple pathways, leading to success in a global society. Education for the future. It starts with us.
Welcome back to halftime. It is the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. We are live here at Pritchard Stadium. Williamson and Vigor notched up 0-0. And joining me right now, we have MCPSS Social Services Division social worker Denise Reamer. Denise, welcome. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having
Good.
me.
We're glad to have you here. And we just talked about social services and what is that about and how do you help students and families as well with the Mobile County Public School System?
So we are a new department within the Student Support Services Division.
Okay.
And we are all about removing barriers so that children can learn. So some of those barriers might be attendance or lack of uniforms or home life situations that are impacting their learning. And so what we try to do with our colleagues who are attendance officers and nurses and the social workers in our division, we try to remove those barriers and support children and families to make that connection between home, school, and community.
I got you. Before we started here, you told me this is a new division for the school system. Where did this need come from? Did it come from with so many students, or was it an appeal from teachers saying we need some help? How did this division get created for the Mobile County Public School System?
Well, we have 5 people in our division, in our department, and we're part of student services, and we have 4 social workers and an administrative assistant, and we also house the homeless education program in our department. And so I think it really, over the last 15 years, we have identified so many homeless students who need our help. And so the principals and the administration and the leadership of Mobile County Public Schools said, you know, we need this to be its own department so that we can focus on getting the things that we need for these children so they can succeed academically. Last year, we identified over 5,700 children who meet the federal definition of homelessness.
Wow.
Yeah. So we are, you know, we coordinate donations. We just had a great drive called Stuff the Bus. With
I've heard of that.
Yeah, with the Mobile retired educators.
Right.
And they stuffed the buses with school supplies and uniforms and backpacks. So we were able to get that to some of our neediest kids.
Okay, we're speaking with Denise Remer. She's a social worker with the Mobile County Public School System Social Services Division. Talk a little about yourself now. We'll let you get your shine on. What brought you to this division? Were you already in the school system, or did you come from outside, or what brought you here?
Well, actually, I was the very first social worker ever hired by Mobile County Public Schools.
Wow, congrats.
Thank you. In January of 2003. And so I've been a part of student services, but this is our first opportunity, our first school year of having our own department within that division. So we hire master's level social workers, and I got my degree from University of Southern Miss, my master's degree, and I'm from Louisiana originally, but my husband is from here. So when we moved back here, I actually got to shadow a school nurse during my master's program. And I said, I want to work for Mobile County Public Schools. And so this is my 16th school year. Very excited about our new department. Terrence Mixon is our executive director for student services, and he's an amazing boss, and he knows that we know what we're doing, and he wants us to try to do the best for kids that we can to improve their academic success.
Okay. Before we get out of here, let me lastly ask you this. If someone sees a need, or there's a need they discover, teacher or parent or someone, how could they get in contact with you guys to get that student the help that they need?
Well, what we like to do is we like to use our administrators at the school level and our counselors and our registrars. So those are all the people on the front lines. So if a parent has a need, they can certainly go to their school. Their school will get the assigned social worker involved, and then they can also call our main office, which is 251-221-4245, and they can ask for Vicki Smith, who's our administrative assistant, who'll be glad to get them in touch with one of us to help.
Okay, look at the camera. Give that number one more time.
251-221-4245.
All right, Denise Remer with the Mobile County Public School System Social Services Division. We appreciate you stopping by and all the great work that you're doing. You can stop by anytime you'd like as well. Keep it right here. More halftime action headed your way. It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Spring Hill Toyota.
I have a lot of great memories from high school, some great experiences. Just being in the Shaw Band was a great experience. With the leadership in my schools, I always felt like they were very passionate about what they were doing. They cared about their calling to teach and to lead the schools. I always felt like they cared about me as a student and my classmates, and they wanted to see us do well and succeed. The relationships that were formed during those years are what impacted me the most, and I would just like to say thank you.
It is an exciting time of change in the world of education, where technology is being used to engage our learners. And here in the Mobile County Public Schools, we're embracing those changes and moving forward into this new era of learning. It's our vision to be the premier educational system where students engage in multiple pathways, leading to success in a global society. Education for the future. It starts with us.
of the week. Welcome back. We are here live at Pritchard Stadium, and it is time for the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. We're going to take it into the stands. Kimberly Dunn has a lucky fan ready to try to win that Chick-fil-A prize pack. What's going on, Kim?
I'm here with Miss Shonda Hosey. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, and she is going to answer our Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. Our question this week is, which state does not border Alabama? And here are your choices, okay? You have Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, or Florida, okay? And if you get this answer correct, you win this wonderful Chick-fil-A prize. There's free meals in here, glasses, bracelets, a shirt from the Mobile County Public School System, and a cup from Mobile County Public School System. So you can have like a whole free meal at Chick-fil-A. All right, are you ready for your answer now?
Yes.
Okay. What is your answer?
Kentucky?
Kentucky, yeah. I've been choosing some smart people because everybody's been getting it right these past few weeks. Here's your prize. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate that. Congratulations, another winner. Let's go down to the field right now. It's homecoming for Vigor, and we're going to take in some homecoming activities as well as the Vigor Marching Wolves Band.
And our final homecoming queen candidate is Miss Tiana Bugsy. She is the daughter of Council Brother and Nicole Bugsy. She has been escorted by Mr. E.L. Craig. She's a member of the National Society, the Chicago Association, and the Yearbook Club. She now currently holds a 4.1 GPA. After graduation, this person plans to attend the Tuskegee to major in mechanical engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, our third homecoming queen candidate, Miss Tiana Bugsy. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let's give a round of applause for all of our homecoming participants. Now, also, let's give a round of applause to all three of our beautiful homecoming queen candidates. They are absolutely beautiful, and they are all winners.
Homecoming activities here for the Vigor Wolves. We are live at Pritchard Stadium. We'll be back with more halftime action. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
I think it's a good idea for students to enroll in this program because it offers a sort of new way to learn. It feels like in AP classes, you're actually expected to learn and apply yourself and apply the knowledge as well. Helped me to learn how to work harder. It's helped me learn my limits as a student. It's sort of helped me to be more confident in myself as well as a student in my abilities.
The Environmental Studies Center is a natural sciences education facility designed to provide unique learning experiences. In addition, wildlife rehabilitation plays a vital role each day at the center. Featuring more than 500 acres of rich woodlands, the center affords teachers, students, and the general public an opportunity to experience firsthand the natural environment. Environmental Studies Center. It starts with us in the Mobile County Public Schools.
Welcome back to halftime at the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. We're all notched up 0-0. So are you ready for a career change? You're looking to make a change in a young person's life? Well, the Mobile County Public Schools is looking for you. There are currently several openings for teachers to fill classroom vacancies. Nowadays, there are multiple pathways making it easier than ever to become a teacher. Whether you have a calling or a desire to teach, there is room for you within the Mobile County Public Schools. Now, we'd like to introduce you to two teachers who like to share their story.
The reason why I started teaching was because I knew that I wanted to inspire children. And at a very early age as a child, I knew that teaching was my calling. The reason I chose Mobile County was because this is my home, not to mention that E.R. Dixon was also my home place to start my education as a child. So I wanted to give back to my community. As far as being a new teacher in Mobile County, I know especially here at E.R. Dixon, you will get professional development, you'll have a mentor, and you'll have plenty of people that you can lean on. Administration, coaches, math and reading coaches, intervention teachers that will all help you. And you'll be working as a team to make sure that children are successful. I received professional development. I also had a mentor when I started teaching. In addition, I had my grade level, so I could ask plenty of questions to all the time, whether it be over the weekend or first thing in the morning. I definitely think that we as Mobile County do a wonderful job of providing the support that you need as a new teacher, professional development, whether it be co-workers, mentors, you have a team all the time to help you and guide you through teaching. It makes you feel like you have your place, you have your home. And here I'm already at home, but just to know that when you come here, you have a second family. I'm excited to be a part of Mobile County. Every morning when I wake up, I'm so excited to get to school. And the most important thing is just to see my children and laugh with them and know that we're not just helping that child learn Common Core or Wonders or whatever the program is that we're following, but helping them to grow as an individual. Because these kids are going to be, whether they're here in Mobile County or in another state, we want them to be true examples of leaders and successful and responsible citizens. And when people say, where did you go to school? Mobile County.
My first year working with Mobile County so far, it's been really good, as well as challenging because it's my first year and I'm still learning how to do things, what to do as a first year teacher. So I'm learning new tricks and strategies that hopefully I will be better at next year. So it's just been a little bit challenging as a first year teacher. It is very scary coming in as a first year teacher because you go to college and they teach you these things and you go field experience in other classes, but you're always with another teacher. It's not your very own classroom. The administrative support is pretty good here as well. Our administration does support us. If we need anything, they don't hesitate to help us. So there's some administration support here as well that helps along with your grade level support. I do like that it's very close to the beach. I was from the Bayou and that was only like a 15-20 minute drive from Dauphin Island, so the beach was right there. I do like the downtown area because, and also this is the birthplace of Mardi Gras, so I do like that too. There's Christmas parades, Mardi Gras parades, just a lot of things to do and a lot of activities to do here. I would recommend Mobile County Schools for someone who's searching because I believe it's a really good school system. You have support, you have so many resources, especially within Mobile County, to help you, and they have the first year teacher training as well, which kind of helps you get into teaching.
The Environmental Studies Center is a natural sciences education facility designed to provide unique learning experiences. In addition, wildlife rehabilitation plays a vital role each day at the center. Featuring more than 500 acres of rich woodlands, the center affords teachers, students, and the general public an opportunity to experience firsthand the natural environment. Environmental Studies Center. It starts with us in the Mobile County Public Schools.
It's halftime here at the Mobile County Public School System High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Spring Hill Toyota, still notched up 0-0 as we get ready to go into the second half. Joined right here by Corey LeBounty. Corey, interesting first half there. We're going to get some stats up in a moment, but give me your take on what you saw during the first two quarters.
I just thought Vigor did not capitalize out of being in the red zone area. Coach Scott mentioned it to Kim at halftime, going into halftime, that they have to find a way to punch that ball in for 6. But it was very similar script as well last week because they got into the red zone 2 or 3 times and weren't able to punch it in until late. With that being said, as we take a look at the statistics, Vigor only has 10 rushing yards due to the ball being thrown over the kicker's yard, and that's going to count as negative rushing yards. Williamson's able to amass 65. Passing yard, Vigor has had a lot more success than I thought the Williamson coaching staff thought they would have. They wanted to be balanced, have 40 passing yards, 50 total yards of offense for the Vigor Wolves, 1 turnover apiece for both teams.
Right.
The penalty yards, 24 for Williamson, 18 for Vigor, but they have been critical penalty yards at critical times, and total yards for Williamson, 73. Williamson has not allowed a 100-yard rusher this season. I thought that they would come in and probably not allow a 100-yard rusher as well, but it's very interesting to see how this second half is going to unfold.
Let's head down to the sidelines. Kimberly Dunn is with Williamson coach Dedrick Sumter.
Coach, as this second half is getting started, what does your team need to do to pull off this win tonight?
Stop making mistakes. What I told you, the key is mistakes and getting the drive going. I knew it was going to be this game because we had one of the top defenses. They had one of them. So this right here going to be a test of what offense can score going to win tonight. Yeah. But we still making mistakes. So we're going to clean it up.
So what were you telling your team during halftime to motivate them for this second half?
Really, everything intrinsic is inside. So cut the mistakes down, make the adjustments, and really stop trying to be so flashy and just do what we do. Run the ball, play good defense, doing too much. Like I told you from what offensive coaches do. Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much, Coach. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Kimberly. Had a chance to talk to Coach Sumter before the game, and he just talked about that. Don't beat ourselves, no turnovers. Be patient, establish the run, and you know what? They have the confidence, Corey, to get it done, but they've got to keep the simple things down. I mean, keep those those complex things down by making mistakes that you don't need to.
Yeah, you go back and you take a quick review of my checklist. Vigor has to play for 4 quarters. With that being said, 0-0, 24 minutes. They have to complete this game for 4 quarters. Also, preventing and producing explosive plays. I said the first team who draws blood will be in good shape. Be multiple on offense. You've seen that. On the flip side, Coach Sumter just talked about it, limiting the penalties, making the Wolfpack one-dimensional. We've seen that. Great second half action coming up here on the Mobile County Public School System Television Network.
Don't move. We'll be right back.
To be in the AP program, it not only offers you great opportunities in the classroom, but also outside. Like being a member of the AP program, I can come into college already being a sophomore in college, so I can completely skip 1 year just by completing all my AP credits and by taking the classes and passing the exams. I would recommend other students to take AP classes because being a member of the program offers so many benefits and helps you decide what you want to do in the future and where you want to go with your life.
The more parents are involved in school, the more likely it is a child will succeed. Children with involved parents and attend school regularly make better grades and have better social skills. Every involved parent makes a difference.
Get involved. Ask about your child's day. Explain how your education matters. Parent involvement, it matters.
You can find more information on parent involvement at mcpss.com.
Welcome back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Spring Hill Toyota. I'm Al Whedon, joined by Corey LeBounty. Down on the sidelines, Kimberly Dunn, as we get ready for second half action. We're notched up 0-0. Corey, quite an interesting first half. We were talking about it before the last break. Just opportunities missed by both teams tonight.
And when you look at the second half of action, 24 minutes in this huge 5A Region 1 matchup, turnovers to me are going to be the difference in the second half. We talked about the explosive plays maybe somebody can manufacture something in the special teams game, either as a turnover, a block punt, a block field goal, maybe a return here on the kickoff would be the difference. But we're going to have a wonderful 24 minutes of football here at Pritchard Stadium.
Raphael Harris ready to kick this ball off for Vigor. Back to receive Mr. Everything, Roger McCreary for Williamson. Still a bit humid here tonight in Pritchard for this game. Wind definitely coming out of the east. A little onside squib kick and may possibly have been recovered by the Vigor Wolves. A Williamson player jumped on it, but I think it inched out there, Corey.
That's a big play. I like the call. It's a gutsy call, but if you're able to get that football underneath that pile, no telling what's going on at the bottom of that pile. Whoever gets in the weight room and is the strongest is going to maintain that pigskin.
Yeah, there's no replay here in high school, and they're giving that ball to the Vigor Wolves, getting in there hustling. Number 30, I believe, in on the play. Special teams there.
Jashane
Jones. Oh, yeah.
Exactly, and that was a gutsy call. We talked about special teams being a factor.
You just said it.
Now let's see, after this first half or the second half miscue by the Williamson Lions, if the Wolfpack are able to capitalize off of this turnover.
So Vigor steals a possession as we go into the third quarter. Only 3 seconds into it. Vigor 1st and 10 past the midfield stripe and a flag before they get going. A legal substitution against Vigor, so that will push them back about 5 yards. So there's the call right there.
5-yard penalty, remains first down.
All right, Tim Porter getting his mic going there, Corey. First and 15 for Vigor. Pushes them back past the midfield stripe, met at the line and brought down for a loss. Williams on the carry right there, and he's brought down for a loss, score.
Treywick does a wonderful, Devon Treywick, 6 foot, 210-pound senior, comes from his defensive end position and makes a tremendous stop. So far, after the turnover, now the Vigor Wolves have been going in reverse.
Yeah, they are still in that possession here, but going backwards right now. So 2nd and long, maybe about 16 yards. As Vigor steals the possession, but can they capitalize? Little quick out screen there to Williams. Gets back close to the original line of scrimmage, which takes Vigor to 3rd down.
Big tackle by Jamal Hickbottom, one of our impact players. We talked about him coming into this game with 45 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. He's adding to that tackle total as he's been very active offensively from his left tackle position as well as from his linebacker position.
Right, not surprised you're calling his name frequently tonight. We'll call it 3rd and a long 10 here for the Wolfpack, just past the midfield stripe. Little early onside kick action, and they recovered that ball. Nigel Schamberger in the backfield. Kyle Walker takes off, and he goes nowhere but backwards, Corey, as Williamson snuffs that out, and it's 4th down.
Jaden Shaw from his nose tackle position. You have the young man at the Crichton Optimist Club award bank, which shows why he's an award winner. The design quarterback draw goes nowhere as Jaden Shaw shows his speed. That onside kick is nullified. Now the Wolfpack forced to punt. Let's see here again on special teams. If he's able to field this ball cleanly, will the Williamson Lions have a good return?
Alexander Scott back to return this for Williamson. He's going to run away from that and let it just roll as Vigor downs that ball at about the 13-yard line. So Williamson now getting their first possession here in the second half. 9:48 remaining here in the third quarter. Not only did Coach Scott steal a possession, but he stole a little time off the clock. Let's take a look at Williamson's remaining schedule. We talked about, if you want to call it that, SEC West down here in 5A Region 1, Corey. They've been kind of up and down all season. Started off 2-0, took a bye week. Then they ran the gauntlet right there and went up to St. Paul's and Jackson and lost. Big win last week against Rain. That's out of region. But tonight, that's the must win because they have Faith Academy, Citronelle, and Wilcox Central. Those are all region games back to back to back. So that's why this is a huge, huge ball game for Williamson. That ball is out. That's a fumble. Appears as if Franks dives back on it to retain it, take him to second down.
Almost recovered by the left end, Levante Hunt. He was coming from his left end, 6'1", 240-pound senior. You see the ball get put on the turf, ripped away from the running back, and that's one of those deep in your own territory. Here's an interesting statistic for you, Al. Williamson, since 2000, is 55-3 when opponents score 10 points or less.
Wow.
Let's see if they can make that record 56-3, as again, the first person to score is going to win tonight's contest.
Early third quarter timeout by Coach Detrick Sumter right here. Third down, he's going to possibly get his kids under control right here. And coming up between the quarters, you get him some good numbers right there, Corey. We're going to get you ready for hitting the numbers as we go into the fourth quarter. But I like that stat right there. That's some good digging.
And it's another big number for the Vigor Wolves. The last time this offense was shut out was 2005.
Wow.
So a lot of streaks are at stake for both of these teams tonight.
You're right about that. Kids playing high school football. Let's take a look at some of the middle school football playoffs coming up next week. Championship games are going to be played. Take a look right there. 1A championship between Washington and Chestang. The 2A championship, Scarborough versus Pillins. Got to give a shout out to my buddy Matt Moore. He's the coach for Pillins right there. In the 3A championship, Burns versus Clark Shaw. So some future football high school players right there going in action next week, Corey.
Future ones at its best in this situation. And when you look back at the athlete 251, JJ does a great job of covering middle school athletes. He spotlighted a lot of these guys, but they're playing for all the marbles next week.
That's right. That's right. So I'm sorry, not third down, second down for Williamson. Coach Sumter calling that timeout, talking to his quarterback and his team. Little screen pass there to McCrary. He's got some room, but not having it. That is not going to happen tonight as Vigor wraps him up on that defensive stop right there.
And in that situation, you look at this as a design screen, just not enough blocking out front. The great speed is being shown by the Wolfpack defense. And when you run the screen, you got to make sure you put a hat on a hat. And if you don't get that offensive line push, you're going to be in trouble. Something to look forward to on this Wolfpack defense. Jamarcus Porkchop Lewis was a little slow getting up on that last play for the Vigor Wolves. Let's keep an eye on that and see how rotation-wise the Wolfpack adjusts.
3rd and 14 for Williamson, backed up at their own 10-yard line. Handoff to McCreary once again. He's pretty much getting back to the line of scrimmage. Takes Williamson to 4th down.
Deron Ephraim from his nose guard position, 6'1", 250-pound senior makes the stop. That's our first time tonight calling his name, but they're bottling up this Williamson Lion offense, not allowing a lot to go in between the tackles and off guard. Everything offensively for both teams has been perimeter oriented.
Up the middle doesn't seem to cut it for both teams, Corey. As I look over at the scoreboard, maybe there's a malfunction because timeouts are still listed, 3 for Vigor and 1 for Williamson. We know Coach Sumter's only used 1 timeout, so we need to make a note. Williamson has 2 timeouts here, so McCrary back to punt. Gets it off. Short punt there. Eric Phelps Jr. is going to let that roll out of bounds right at about the 46-yard line.
And that's the best thing the Williamson punter could do in that situation, because you don't want to allow this explosive Wolfpack team for a return. You kick that ball vertically down the field and you try to flip the field with the bounce. No return for the Wolfpack.
Hey, Corey, let's take a look at the 5A Region 1 standings. We talked about it earlier, how much this game is pivotal for Williamson. Let's go straight to them. They're 0-2 in the region. Vigor sitting right there 2-1. So this game matters a lot to them because Williamson hasn't played Faith Academy, Wilcox Central, or Citronelle, but Vigor still has left Jackson and St. Paul's. So this is a big game for both of these teams tonight. Artel Shaw with the carry, picking up about 4 or 5 yards. I'm sorry, Artel Howell for Vigor picking up 4 or 5 to take them to 2nd down.
And again, you look at how they gain positive yards on 1st down. It's on the jet sweep to the outside, nothing in between the tackles, but anytime you can get positive yards, that's important.
Yeah, those standings again. Jackson on top right now, 3-0, and St. Paul's 2-0 as well, so we know they're going to be meeting. That's a big game going to be coming up. So 5A Region 1, this is a big rivalry matchup tonight. Big game for both of these teams. Little jet sweep fake to Williams. Up the middle goes Nigel Schamberger. maybe 2 or 3. He gets tripped up. He was on the way to getting that first down.
Antoine Thomas from his linebacker position, again, only at 5'5", but textbook tackle, stopping Schamberger in the hole, not allowing him to get the first down. Going to bring up 3rd and 2 for the Wolfpack.
Scores coming in, Fairhope on top of Baker, 14-7. It's Baker's homecoming tonight. They don't want to lose that. McGill all over Bryant, 41-0. 3rd down for Vigor. High snap, gets over Walker's head, and the Lions immediately down him right there at the 50-yard line. Mistakes, Corey. That cannot win you the ball game.
It will not win you the ball game. And you look at the Williamson Lions being Johnny on the spot for the 2nd time after the high snap. Reginald Polk as well as Demetrius Inge were able to come away, and Coach Scott talked about not having those high snaps, having efficient plays, and not being able to flip the field. Well, here's a punting opportunity to where, again, the Williamson Lions are going to get the football, but everything's negated because nobody has scored yet. We're still at 0-0.
Raphael Harris back to punt. They're switching punters. Jeff Thompson punted earlier. And once again, running from that, Alexander Scott nowhere near touching that ball. He lets Vigor down it at about the 22-yard line.
Now, when you look at 1 year ago, Vigor beat Williamson 32-20.
Right.
We have the total opposite this year. We had an offensive showdown last year.
Right.
Now we're having a defensive showdown. Vigor's all-time 18-8 versus Williamson. Well, with that being said, what coordinator is going to dial up the correct play and catch the defense slipping here in the second half? Because I still believe the team that scores first will be the team that wins this game.
It could be, Corey. 5:16 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Flag on the play. We'll take it down to the field and get the call. Tim Porter. Looks like a legal substitution call against Williamson. We saw that call against Vigor on their previous series where they had the little onside kick.
Dead ball, substitution infraction on the white team. It's 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
Same situation as Vigor. They had the ball, pushed themselves back 5 yards, making simple mistakes. I know Coach Detrick Sumter's not happy about that at all. So 1st and 15 for Williamson. McCrary in motion. They fake it to him. Get it to JaQuinton Shaw, and he's brought down for a loss.
And I'm surprised we haven't seen more swing passes or bubble screens to the outside because neither team has had success in between the guard and tackles. I think if both teams decide to go to the perimeter, I think a lot of teams will have success. Williamson hasn't taken their shot vertically besides on the trick play, the flea flicker, or a pass by McCreary once he swung out and was legally being able to throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage. It's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds here the rest of the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Maybe the longest offensive play for the Lions came when Alexander Scott intercepted that Jeff Thompson pass right there at the end of the 2nd quarter, Corey. 2nd and long for Williamson. Franks needs to get rid of this before he's brought down in the end zone. And he throws it up the middle. I don't see a receiver there. I want they're going to call him for grounded, but Scott was in the vicinity. Okay. So good move for him to get rid of that ball, Corey.
And we saw him against St. Paul's kind of make an errant throw. You look at the pressure, he's going to dance around in the end zone, think about it and think about it. That's the worst thing that can happen for a quarterback when you allow him to think about it and just not react, just kind of flicks the ball into Scott's direction. But once again, coming up on 3rd down and close to 20 yards to go for the Williamson Lions, hopefully they'll be able to get half of this yardage back to where they're not pinned up deep against their own shadows of their own end zone.
Right, you don't want McCreary in the end zone having to punt this. So 3rd and a country mile, we'll call it, for Williamson here. Trying to get some breathing room. Hand it off to McCreary. Smart move up the middle he goes. Do see a flag on the far side of the field as our graphics team comes in with that nice graphic there. Here's a flag on the play, so let's take it down to the field, see what Tim Porter has to say about this.
Adolph Craig was in the hole ready to make the stop, but another unfortunate penalty is going to be called.
That's false start against Williamson. Not what you want to do when you're already backed
Illegal
up.
formation on the offensive team. Penalty is refused to be declined. 4th down.
That takes Williamson to 4th down.
And let's see if Williamson's able to angle this punt once again, as Vigor has 2 returners, Howell as well as Felch Jr. deep for the Wolfpack. Don't want to kick it to either one of these guys. You want to try to kick it out of bounds and angle it to where there is no return.
McCrary gets that one off, and Corey goes almost up and down, but takes a little bounce off one of the Williamson players, but that ball is going to be down right there by the official at about the 38-yard line. We got a chance to head down to the sidelines. Let's check in with Kimberly Dunn once again.
Hey guys, as you mentioned earlier, we are wearing pink tonight for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I just wanted to let our viewers know why we wear pink. In 1991, pink ribbons were distributed to all breast cancer survivors as participants of the Komen, New York City race, and since then, supporters everywhere have been not only wearing pink ribbons, but just wearing pink in general. And 1 in 8 U.S. citizens, women specifically, will develop invasive breast cancer over the course of their life. So raising awareness about this disease is really key.
All right, Kimberly, thank you so much. We appreciate that, you bringing that insight onto breast cancer awareness. First down for Vigor as they get maybe 4 or 5 out of that run right there.
And they jump right back into that I formation, something that they've gotten away from in the second and early in the third quarter. We've seen them go with the single back. Really haven't seen them go with split backs or the dual backs tonight. Let's see if they have success here with this I formation against this Williamson Lion team that only had 28 players dress out.
Second down for Vigor. Just had a look at the Vigor marching band. Corey, they are laying it on thick. We can barely hear ourselves up here on top of the press box. Whitsitt right there, right about the 30, trying to get outside the numbers. Takes it to 3rd down, and we'll be hitting the numbers pretty soon as we approach the 4th quarter. Ball squirts out, but it is not a fumble. Witz is down. Let's take a look at the replay here.
I think they're going to mark forward progress after the play is done. Nothing in the middle, bounces it to the outside and tackled by a Lion King. Or the Williamson Lions, you look at a host of them coming in and trying to strip and scoop and score, but it's going to bring up, nonetheless, 3rd down and about 6 yards to go.
See the pink pom-poms there of the Vigor Wolves cheerleaders as they celebrating Breast Cancer Awareness Month. 3rd down and long here, maybe about 3rd and 7, still behind the sticks. Williams in motion. Vigor in that I formation. And Walker trying to connect with Williams. He does. And Williams on his way to the end zone. Can he get in? He hits pay dirt for 6. Touchdown for Vigor. Sidney Williams with a touchdown reception.
Sidney Williams comes in and gets his 2nd receiving touchdown on the season. You look at the replay, it was a great 5-step drop. Just a slant run by Williams. The defender mistimes it, and it just bounces off of one of the Williamson Lions, able to take it in for 6. The extra point is going to be critical for the Vigor Wolves.
Eric Feltz Jr. on for the extra point here. Kick is up and it is blocked, so extra point is no good. Vigor on top 6-0 at the 2:21 mark. We'll be back with more action. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Spring Hill Toyota.
To be inside of the advanced placement program means that you are a student whose primary goal is to go to college. And being in the advanced placement makes that so much more real for those students who are inside of it.
I feel that students shouldn't be scared to go into being an AP scholar, because it's not how smart you are and it's not like your GPA, it's how much work you put into your classes and how much you are dedicated to your classes.
Welcome back to Pritchard Municipal Stadium. Vigor, first score of the evening. Corey, could it turn out to be the winning score? You just said you feel whoever scores first might win this ball game tonight.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be critical, that the first team that got on the board was going to put a little bit more pressure on the other team. Williamson Lions have not had a lot of success offensively besides early in the first quarter. Let's see if they're able to answer the score.
Little pooch kick there from the Vigor Wolves. Ball taken by the returner and brought down right there about the 30-yard line. Leo Brown with the return there. First down for Williamson. Ball at their own 30-yard line. 2:14 remaining here, Corey, and they're down 6 points.
Now, what the Wolfpack have talked about all week long from a coaching perspective is watching the trick play by the Williamson Lions. They have a lot of tricks in the bag, so you have to maintain your fundamentals and go ahead and stay with your keys. Can't get caught looking in the backfield, getting somebody behind you when they run that wheel route or run that post route.
McCrary rolls out. Franks tries to get the ball to him. That's an incomplete pass, not a lateral. Second down for Williamson.
One of those situations that I thought they would start throwing the ball to the perimeter, getting it into your best playmaker's hands, but you must make a clean throw, allowing McCreary to get the ball and make his magic happen after he gets the catch.
Speaking of clean, Corey, I had to wipe my fingers clean with all that lovely chicken sauce and the stuff from Tender Bones there. I was licking the fingers there, so thanks to Tender Bones for hooking us up with the eats, and also David Bowen. We talked about them earlier, man, getting us taken care of with the polos. We sporting the pink tonight for breast cancer awareness, Corey.
Brett Bowen on Azalea and Government Boulevard. Go and support David Bowen Sporting Goods.
Second and 10 for Williamson. Handoff to McCreary. And that ball is out. That's a fumble. Vigor all over it. Let's see if they're going to retain possession there and get that. I'm sorry, see if they're going to gain possession. But that ball did come out as McCreary tried to fight for a couple yards. Officials sorting it out right now.
And they are still tussling at the bottom of that pile. Tim Porter initially signaled that it was going to be Williamson Lion football, and now he's going to have to back out of it to see who comes away with it. And it's going to be third down as he was Johnny on the spot and had a good angle. You look at the replay as Roger McCreary has the football and just is stripped away by the Vigor Wolves defender. And that's a good job of making sure when the defender is going down to the ground, he's scooping and squirting at that football.
Yeah.
Got to have better pigskin protection if you're the Williamson Lions, because that's the last thing you want to do is turn it over deep in your own territory.
Ball stripped by DeAnthony Walker of the Wolves. Takes Williamson to third down as we approach the end of the third quarter, getting ready to hit the numbers here in a moment. Will Williamson get this play off as well? Frank's looking to go deep, sees no one, and heads up the middle. He's getting some yards past the line of scrimmage, maybe 2 or 3, but that is not enough to get a first down. It takes Williamson to fourth down.
They're on Ephraim again on the tackle. You look at Franks, he knew all along if he didn't see a receiver down the field, he was going to tuck and run. One of his first years playing quarterback, he says he likes to run first, had to develop the throwing motion and the confidence. We're going to go into the fourth quarter with finally a score.
All right, Corey, in the third quarter, headed to the fourth quarter. Let's get ready to check out some numbers here. Vigor on top 6-0.
Get ready, we're hitting the numbers. For two schools in the area that have been playing football since the 50s, Vigor and Williamson don't share too much in common. So as we dig into our batch of numbers to discover more about them, one number jumps to the top. Tonight we focus in on the number 3. Vigor and Williamson's first meeting on the gridiron took place back in 1971, and Vigor leads the series 18-8. Now, Williamson had a small bit of success winning 3 in a row in 2003, 2006, and 07. Speaking of 07, that was the year the Lions made it to the state semifinals game for a third time, a feat they also did back in 1999 and 2000, with all 3 of those appearances under head coach Bobby Parrish, who is one of 3 coaches at Williamson to possess a winning record. The other 2 are Levi Washington and Albert Terry. Speaking of coaching, Vigor has had 9 head football coaches in its history, with only 3 of them having a losing record. And there's that number 3 again. By the way, the Vigor Wolves own 3 state football titles. And that's hitting the numbers.
And Al, I remember growing up watching that back-to-back state championship team, 87 and 88, Darrell Electron Williams right here at Pritchard Stadium. You look at the Wolfpack trying to get back on track after becoming region champions a year ago, looking for that 4th state title.
You're right. Eric Phelps Jr. laid out on the field, getting into place. Low snap, McCreary trying to field it, cannot pick it up. Williamson does not get the punt off. Crucial mistake right there. Vigor, great field position, taking it over on downs. Ball at about the 22-yard line. They're knocking on the red zone door and possibly knocking on the end zone door as well, Corey.
Special team blunders. Something we've seen by both of these squads tonight, and it's going to prove to be critical because Williamson has not been able to capitalize off of the blunders by Vigor. Let's see if Vigor, with this 6-0 lead, is able to pad and get more points on the board.
Jeff Thompson back in the game, bringing that arm in, the senior quarterback. Over the middle he goes, trying to connect with Artel Howard. Intercepted right at the goal line. And who is that, Corey? Mr. Everything, Roger McCreary.
Roger McCreary Jr. does a wonderful job each and every time he's on the football field. Comes away with the interception, will probably get one single blow or one play off, and he's going to turn right back around and come on the field and play a little offense for the Williamson Lions. Now is where it gets very, very interesting now, because
I see a flag on the play there, Corey.
If they call this flag against the Vigor Wolves, we'll definitely
receiver downfield. Penalty is declined.
Yeah.
First down.
Wow.
But it will be first down from probably the 1-yard line for the Williamson Lions. We've seen them struggle from the shadows of their own goalpost. See if they can go ahead and produce and move the sticks. Have not been able to do so in the first half or early here in the fourth quarter. It's going to be critical that they get a drive going.
Second pick thrown by Jeff Thompson tonight, Corey. Williamson right there at the goal line. I agree with you. When they're near the goal line, that offense gets a little shaky there. I know Coach Sumter is probably concerned right now. Hand off to Shaw in the end zone, wrapped up and tackle. And you know what's going to happen now, Corey. All the Vigor players are going to call for a safety. Hasn't been acknowledged yet. Getting a little chippy in the end zone there. Officials trying to break this up.
And it is a safety, no matter how you look at it in this situation. And the Wolfpack are trying to calm down Jamarcus Porkchop Lewis, the 285-pound junior.
Yeah.
Just doesn't want to hurt your team after coming away with that huge safety play.
Coach Sumter out there getting his players off the field saying, move it now.
You should get them off the field, but in that situation, when you're deep on the own 1-yard line, unless you know for sure you're going to get that offensive line push, you probably don't want to make that call. It proved to be a safety. 8-0 is our new score with 11:40 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Williamson's offense only averaging 250 across the front. Not a very hefty line there. All of them are seniors. Hickbottom, Stewart, Treywick, Graham, and Paul. But Vigor puts that push on them and pushes them back into the end zone. So we're going to let Tim Porter and the crew sort it out here, Corey.
Tim Porter and Bill Wiggins are talking about whether any punches were thrown. There was a lot of shoving involved in that situation. I really didn't see anything that was excessive that would have called for an ejection. Nothing else would be offsetting, unsportsmanlike. We are going to have the safety and the unsportsmanlike called against Williams and the unsportsmanlike penalty called against the Vigor Wolves. Right. Looks like there might have been two called against the Williamson Lions, one against the Vigor Wolves. That will be a free 15 on this free kick, which will back them up 15 yards. And that's what Tim Porter is going over to describe to the head coach of the Vigor Wolves. And that's a situation that Derek Scott has told his young men, keep your composure no matter what. Don't do anything to hurt our team.
Very smart of Coach Sumter to go in there and get his kids out of there. You don't want any excessive penalties or anyone ejected. And also think about this too, Corey, when you have ejections in situations like that, that comes back on the school later in the form of fines.
It does. It's a $500
that affects the program.
fine.
Right.
And that's something that I know Coach Sumter has taken great pride in, because Williamson in the past have won the Star Sportsmanship Award. And it's something where you have no ejections throughout any of your athletic programs. So now the officials, Bill Wiggins, Tim Porter, and the rest of the guys are trying to sort it out. There will be a free kick assessed by the Williamson Lions. We'll see the kick, probably because there was 2 against Williamson, being marched off first in the free kick. It'll give Vigor prime real estate after this free kick.
Got a break right here. Let's take a look at the 7A Region 1 standings down here in the coastal area. McGill, Tulane, Fairhope undefeated in the region. Fairhope taking on Baker tonight. Baker's homecoming. Davidson sitting right there in the Catbird seat at 3-1, just waiting for one of those guys on the top to lose. Theodore, Murphy, and Bryant. There's the log jam right there. 2-2, 2-2, and 1-2, and Baker needs that win tonight to kind of stay in the hunt, Corey. They really do.
They're trailing 21-7 to the Fairhope Pirates in the third quarter, and Davidson's leading MGM 24-0. McGill Tulane absolutely smoking Alma Bryant 55-0 down in the Bayou. So you look at that situation to here where it's 8-0. It'll be a lot of football left to be played here in the fourth quarter.
Let's take a look at the 6A Region 1 standings. We know the big one tonight, Blunt and Spanish Fort going at it. That pretty much will be a position for who's going to retain number 1, Saraland. Right there at 3-1, Daphne 2-1. LaFleur still in the hunt, 2-2. We saw them lose to Vigor last week, but that was an out-of-region game. So you got the log jam right there with Daphne, LaFleur, and Baldwin County. Still opportunity for the Rattlers and the Tigers and the Trojans to kind of separate themselves to try to get that, lock that number 4 position down.
I don't know if any defense is being played over in Baldwin County tonight, as there's a halftime score of Spanish Fort leading Blunt 42-21. You look at how many points have been scored. They decided not to share those points with here in Pritchard.
Unsporting on the white team, number 7. Dead ball, unsporting. Number 7 on the green team. Dead ball, unsporting. Number 24 is ejected. Kickoff on the white team.
So Jaden Shaw, the Crichton Optimist Club Defensive Lineman of the Week, ejected, Corey.
And that's a great job of the officials huddling and doing their job. So much for the Star Sportsmanship Award being won by Williamson, because anytime there is an ejection, it's reviewed by the state. The officials have to fill out the correct forms and get them to the state office and Mark Jones. And that's a situation that's unfortunate, because here's a young man who is very vital to this Williamson Lions squad. And you look at where they're going to now have this free kick. It's going to be from the 10-yard line.
Right. Jaden Shaw is ejected from the game. So on the 2 deep, Carlos Coleman possibly coming in to replace him at that nose guard position. Vigor fields this ball right at about the 32-yard line. Great field position. Sidney Williams with the fair catch right there. So Vigor sitting pretty good, up 8-0, 11-13. Looks like the floodgates coming open right now, Corey.
And if you look at the Vigor Wolves situation, number 2 comes back. Kyle Walker has been running the show early in the game. They brought in Jeffrey Thompson. He had a couple of interceptions, unfortunately, a couple of turnovers. So Coach Eric Scott, the offensive coordinator, decides to go right back with Kyle Walker.
Brings him back in. Pretty much you could look at this as ball control time for Vigor right here. Milk that clock, make it your ally. Even if you don't get some points by running that clock, you're playing keep away from Williamson. Hand off to Jalen Whitsett. Up the middle he goes. Gets just past the line of scrimmage. Appears as if they will give him forward progress, or maybe a yard, Corey.
He will gain 1 yard on the play, but like you mentioned, we're here early in the fourth quarter, and all the Wolfpack really have to do is maintain possession of the football, continue to grind out that clock, and make the Williamson Lions use more of their timeouts.
And that is exactly what they're doing, taking as much time as they can, keeping this ball on the ground. Second down. 2nd and 9, we'll call it. Hand off to Whitsett once again, and he just drops his head, but keeps those legs moving. We talk about it all the time. Keep that train moving, Corey. You'll get some yards by having those legs and feet going.
You're not going to be able to tackle this young man up high. You're going to have to take his feet out from under him. If you're going to allow him to just push the pile, he'll continue to get positive yards.
third down for Vigor. So far, Williamson standing up right now. Vigor, great field position, taking a look right there at Coach Sumter and the rest of the coaches discussing matters on the sideline. And Coach Derek Scott with offense coordinator Eric Scott milking that clock, Corey, as we approach 10 minutes remaining here in the ballgame. Walker decides to keep this one, fake with the RPO, and met at the line and brought back. Big hit by Williamson, fourth down for Vigor.
And in that situation, you look at the hit that was placed on the young man who was running the football. Caleb Graham, the defensive tackle, 6'1", 265-pound senior, makes a tremendous hit in the hole, but the Vigor Wolves will continue to have possession of this football, making it fourth and about 4 yards to go.
Vigor going for it right here. Too far away to kick the field goal, too close to punt. Why not? About 4th and 3 here. It's a doable situation, and it keeps the clock moving. Walker just going to keep it and come out wide as that offensive line pushes. He finds a little gap right there and jumps in, but the flag comes in way from the back judge there. We know what this call might be, Corey.
All type of holding on the play as you look at number 9, Tadarian Dale, had Roger McCrary Jr. horse-collared, riding him out of bounds right in front of the officials. That was an easy call to make for the officials. Let's see if they saw exactly what I was focused in on with my binoculars high atop our position here at Pritchard Stadium.
There's a call from referee Tim Porter, so that one's coming back.
That was an easy call to make because you look at the best player for the Williamson Lions on the field. Anytime he's driven to the sidelines, that's not going to happen if you have your hands on the inside and not wrapped around his shoulder pads.
During the play, holding on the green team, 10-yard penalty from the spot. We're going to replay fourth down.
Let's take it out to the sidelines and check in with Kimberly Dunn once again. What's up, Kimberly?
Hey guys, it's really unfortunate for Coach Sumter that they had someone ejected from the game, because before the game I asked them what sets this team apart, and one thing that he really harped on, he said, my guys have discipline on and off the field. He really prides himself in guys that keep it clean in all aspects of their life. So seeing someone ejected from the game for unsportsmanlike conduct is probably really hard on Coach Sumter.
Thank you, Kimberly. You're right about that. He does take great pride in that. Vigor does punt that ball, and it goes into the end zone, so it's a touchback. Williamson would get the ball at the 20-yard line. Here's the other thing about that, Corey. With Williamson having only 28 players dressed out, and you're losing your main nose guard, that brings another guy in position, Carlos Coleman, so that you're down another player. That's the downside to having it ejected for a team like Williamson. Not many numbers across the field.
Well, like I mentioned, great job by the officials huddling to make sure all of their eyeballs were on their positions on the field, and one of the officials may not have seen what another one did, and they took their time in making sure that they got it right, and in that situation, there was an ejection made.
1st and 10, ball at the 20-yard line, 8:49 remaining. Williamson not out of it by any means, but you have to get on the board first to try to get this game tied up or go for the win. Franks decides to keep it. No gain on that play. Actually loses a couple yards. One of the players has lost his helmet, I see. Also a Vigor player as well. Big Pork Chop Lewis there, Corey.
Not a lot of space for Breland Franks to run into on that particular quarterback draw. He was hoping that the hole would open up momentarily, and Pork Chop at 265 made sure, at 285, I was a couple of pork chops short in that situation. He made sure he didn't get beyond the line of scrimmage.
Maybe too much tender bones for you tonight, Corey. 2nd down and about 12 for Williamson. Stacked receivers at the bottom and the top. And they hand it off to JaQuinton Shaw, and he goes nowhere but backwards.
Frederick Austin, from his no guard position, makes the stop for the Vigor Wolves. And again, you look at offensive coordinator Thamus Davis, his calls have to change because he's not been able to go vertical, not been able to run any screens or bubble plays. You ask these players to play both ways, and it's hard to ask them to exert a lot of energy offensively and defensively. Like I mentioned, we haven't seen a lot of cramps, but the explosive plays have been limited tonight by this Vigor Wolfpack defense.
And I'm agree with you on that, Corey, and add one. It's been humid all night long. It's a bit more humid tonight than it was last week when we were here in Pritchett. October 9th, and it's pretty warm down on the field here at the stadium. Frank scrambling around, can't find anyone and eats it and takes a loss right there at 3rd down, and it puts Williamson in a position of punting.
Frederick Austin and Theron Ephraim both clean up on the play, but I give Breland Franks a lot of credit right there. Nothing was open for him. He didn't force the ball down the field, and he took care of the football. Last time we saw the Williamson Lions have to punt, it was a high snap.
Right.
So this is going to be critical, again, deep in your own territory to make sure that you're able to get this football off.
Scores coming in. You talked about that earlier. Fairhope on top of Baker 21-7, spoiling their homecoming right now. McGill all over Bryant down in the eye, 55-0. Look at there, another blowout. Davison 38-0. That's about what, 11 quarters of no one scoring on the Davison Warriors defense. Foley up 20-0 over Murphy, and Spanish Ford all over Blunt 42-21 as Eric Phelps Jr. takes that punt return up to about the Williamson 37-yard line. Citronelle over Wilcox County 21-0, and Daphne on top of Rain 28-0, Corey.
Reginald Pope makes the stop for the Williamson Lions, but you looked at Eric Phelps Jr., he planted his feet getting ready to go north and south. He was probably one more step or one more quick burst from taking that one to the house. The Vigor Wolves, with 6:05 remaining here in the 4th quarter, will be content to sit on top of this clock.
Oh, yeah, they sure will. Jeff Thompson back in the game again, but play is stopped. Appears as if we had a flag before the snap got off.
On the offensive line,
Referee.
line up in the neutral zone, 1st down.
Tim Porter says neutral zone infraction against Vigor, pushing them back 5 yards. We've seen that a couple times tonight, Corey. 1st down, penalty, pushes them back on both teams, Vigor and Williamson.
Even with that being said, Al, Williamson is still just one play away from go ahead and getting 6 on the board and a 2-point conversion from tying this up.
I'm surprised to see Vigor throwing the ball here. Thompson has 2 interceptions. He has and a fumble, Corey. Oh, my goodness, you just mentioned it. And who picks it up? Number 14 for Williamson, running down the field with that fumble recovery, Kareem Farr. Wow, you just talked about that, one play away. That's 3 turnovers attributed to Thompson, 2 interceptions and a fumble on his behalf. Similar to the Theodore game a couple weeks ago, 5 turnovers all attributed to the quarterbacks. Unbelievable.
That's the spark that this Williamson Lion offense needed. We talked about the momentum changer. Something positive has to happen. In that situation, Jeffrey Thompson really didn't have anything. You wanted him to protect the football, wasn't able to do so. If you ask me, Al, right now is the time that you make this all about your best player, and that's going to be Roger McCreary Jr. It has to be Roger McCreary Jr. time if you're the Williamson Lions offensively.
It has to be. Let's take a look at the Alabama High School Athletic Association 5A poll, week 6 from last week. Local teams right there. St. Paul's ranked number 2 in the state. Jackson down there at number 9, 4-1. Briarwood Christian still undefeated. Also Carroll as well. So no one here locally in the city besides St. Paul. Not a county school, but they play here out of Mobile. Ranked number 2 in the state in Jackson. So that's a big game because that's a big thing because Vigor goes up to Jackson next week to play them as well. So that's going to be huge for the Wolfpack. Take a look over to 6A. Spanish Fort right there sitting in the middle at number 5. Also Saraland at 5-1. Blunt getting a couple votes, 24 votes to get into the poll. 4-2 on the season, but right now they are down over at Spanish Fort Court. They're losing that one.
One of the things that you like to see is the log jams that come in to these each and every year, the different regions, 7A, 6A, 5A. We normally have three-way ties for second and third, and sometimes first place. That's continuing to transpire this year as well.
Here's the 7A poll. McGill-Tootin been to the state championship game back-to-back years, number 5 in the state. Fairhope, number 7. Also, Davidson picking up some votes, finally making it, creeping their way into it. If they get that win tonight, I'm sure if someone loses between 8 and 10, I think Davidson will hit the top 10, Corey.
And this is a team that lost over 27 seniors for Fred Riley. Started off slow, but have really gotten it in gear offensively, and that's been the difference for Fred Riley and his Warriors. Colby Blunt and this offensive line led by Coach Ken Daigle have done a wonderful job as the season has progressed.
We're going to try to get a live look in at Davidson's game, one of those MCPSS student productions. See if we'll get a play here from Williamson. Had some sorting out going on there from the officials, but Williamson has the ball right at about the 25-yard line of Vigor, and they are trying to get on the board. Hand off to Roger McCurry. You called it. Get the ball to your best athlete on the field that picks up maybe 1 or 2 yards.
I'm going to continue to feed Roger McCreary, and I'm actually going to go play action with Breland Franks after this play is over, because I'm going to feed it to him one more time. As you look at the replay, you had no doubt as to where and who it was going to go to in that situation. One of the things after that turnover that I saw is offensive coordinator Eric Scott continued to encourage his offense and said, that's on me, guys. That's on me. So it's going to be interesting to see how they respond after they get the football back, Vigor that is. But Williamson Lyon has to make it Roger McCreary Jr. time.
Yeah, they need to also look at time and tempo here, Corey. Going vertical over the top, trying to connect with Roger McCreary, and that is a touchdown. Corey, you got to play your lucky lotto numbers this weekend. You called it. Roger McCreary with a touchdown over the top from Breland Franks. Williamson down 2 points from tying this ball game at 5:03. Oh, my goodness.
And the light switch went off of the turnover by Jeffrey Thompson. Just like that, we have a game. We're a 2-point conversion away from this being knotted up at 8 apiece. If you don't get the play in quick enough, you want to make sure that I would burn a timeout, because there's going to be no bigger play than making sure that you secure this 2-point conversion if you're Williamson.
Big play right here. We know what the call is going to be, and there it is. Coach Detrick Sumter calling timeout, Corey. That was a huge call, Corey. You put in your offensive hat right there, but right now let's take a live look in. We're going to check out, I believe, Davidson at MGM. Davidson all over MGM, 38-0 in the MCPSS student production. Notice some of the Warriors there wearing the pink and celebrating breast cancer awareness.
And we know Fred Riley's wife is a breast cancer survivor.
That's correct.
So it's very important, near and dear to the Davidson Warrior team, faculty and staff, and he can't wait till October to roll around, because when you have a breast cancer survivor, as Fred Riley's wife is, this cause means a whole lot more the entire month, not just the entire month of October, but year-round, each and every day is a blessing.
That's right, that's right. So here it is. Williamson called a timeout, setting up the 2-point conversion. Everyone in the house knows what's going to happen right here. They've got to go for 2 to try to tie this up at the 5:05 mark.
This is something Williamson specializes in, the 2-point trickeration here. I don't think they're going to play smash mouth football with Breland Franks being lined up in the shotgun situation. Vigor has to be very, very sound and aware of where Williamson's personnel is on the field.
Jamal Hickbottom in the backfield.
And
they're going back, a little throwback, wide open to receive that. Burles Richardson, or as you called him early, Nehemiah, with a 2-point conversion, and we're tied up, Corey.
And I love the play call, because in the situation they put in work every single practice on 2-point conversions, and Coach Scott mentioned it when we met at Big White's Wings earlier this week.
Right.
The situation and the preparation that goes into 2-point conversions and trick plays, Coach Scott was worried about that. Knotted up at 8 apiece. We thought that the first team, or at least I did, the first team to score would win this contest. Look at the throwback. It had to be a perfect throw. Comes away, Richardson does. How points off turnovers
has
been huge, but who did they go to on that drive? Roger McCreary Jr. is the best player on the field, you have to go to your playmaker.
And then on that two-point conversion, Corey, he was all off on the island, wrapped up by two players. They used him as a decoy. Smart call by the Williamson offensive coaching staff to tie it up 8-8, 4:59 remaining in the contest. And Corey, I can't hear any of the Vigor Wolves fans on the home side.
And it's homecoming here at Pritchard Stadium, but the Wolf Pack have been quiet. Let's see if they can bring them alive here.
Eric Phelps Jr. on the move. Look at him go. He's not unfamiliar with running one back, and he takes that to the Williamson 40-yard line. It was a line drive kickoff. Phelps picked it up and took off, and boy, did he make a lot out of that.
And that's the spark that the Wolfpack needed. Now they cannot shoot their own selves in the foot with penalties.
Right.
We talked about the turnovers that have been a factor in the contest. Coach Scott mentioned it going into the half with Kimberly Dunn on the sidelines. Turnovers and self-inflicted wounds were going to be important to avoid in the second half. Knotted up at 8 apiece, 4:48 remaining. The Williamson Lions defense has got a little excited, a little spark on that last play. Ball security is going to be important for the Wolfpack.
And who do I see on the field for Vigor, Corey? It looks like number 25 in the backfield, Nigel Schamberger. He gave a nice spark to him last week playing against LaFleur. Fakes the pitch to him, Walker keeps it, picks up maybe 2 or 3.
And you can look for Nigel Schamberger to get his hands on that rock. Kyle Walker with the option, that had the opportunity to pitch it out wide, but decided to tuck it. Once he plants that feet going north and south, you know what he's going to do with it. He's going to secure the pigskin and gain positive yards. It's going to be 2nd and 7 for the Wolfpack.
Walker with the quick out to Sidney Williams. He dodges one Williamson defender, maybe picks up one. 3rd down for Vigor.
The thing that's important is ball security. After Sidney Williams made the great catch, he kept that ball very far away from his body. You have to keep it snug and to your body. If you don't do that, you're liable to turn it over. Got to be careful if you're the Wolfpack.
Big call right here for the Vigor offensive coaching staff. 3rd and a long 5 yards. Ball sitting squarely right there at about the 35 and a half yard line, and the clock ticking under 4 minutes. Schamberger gets the handoff. He's got those fresh legs, and he is 1st down, Corey, as the Vigor Wolves moves the chain.
They're going to mark him short, Al. They're going to say his knee was down. The side judge is going to come in and say it's going to bring 4th down and 1 yard to go for the Vigor Wolves.
He was short. Wow, great look with the binoculars there, Corey. Decision time for Coach Derek Scott.
Oh, you definitely go for it. You allow that big mammoth offensive line to get that great push with 3:20 remaining here in the 4th quarter and get you that yard at this critical juncture of the game.
Notice the clock stopped. Okay, there we go. Got the clock moving there. Handoff to Schamberger, and he is going to be stopped, Corey. And he lost maybe a half yard on that, so Williamson's defense stands up. We talked about how stingy they are at the beginning of the telecast, and they stopped Schamberger short.
That's Devon Treywick, 6 foot, 210-pound senior from his defensive end position. The big offensive line was able to get no push against this Williamson Lion defense, and just like we mentioned it, you talk about it every week. Sometimes Uncle Mo comes to pay a visit.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he showed up here at Pritchard Stadium.
I think Uncle Mo has showed up. And, Corey, how big of a win would this be for the Maysville community, man? Wow.
They're 0-2 in this region. Can't afford to go 0-3 with playoff implications being on the line. But we're tied up here at 8, and we're going to have some talking about it by the Williamson Lions and the Vigor Wolves with 3:12 left.
Appears as if Williamson has called timeout there, I believe. 3:12 remaining here in the contest. Well, Corey, we were notched up at 0-0 in the first half, and second half, someone decided a football game decided to break out here.
Yeah, it's amazing what Uncle Mo would do, and points off turnovers, and how one play can spark your team, and that's exactly what happened. The Williamson Lions were able to strip the ball away from the Vigor quarterback. It hits the turf. They're able to scoop it up and take it some 45 yards on the return, and then they go to Roger McCreary Jr. He makes the plays for you offensively, similar to what he did 1 week ago when he had a touchdown reception against the Red Raiders. Again, 5A Region 1 matchup right here at Pritchard Stadium, going down to the wire.
Handoff to McCreary. He's got some room. He's struggling. Picks up maybe 4 yards.
And Al, I tell you, you're going to your best player offensively. Again, offensive coordinator Thamus Davis realizes that Roger McCreary is the meat and potatoes if he has a nice push on the offensive line and from the point of attack. But don't let him lure you to sleep, because that play-action pass can be very effective by Breland Franks as well.
2:39 and the clock ticking here. Ball at the 34-yard line. Handoff once again to McCreary. He's got some blockers, got some room. And he's close to that first down mark right in front of us here. I believe he may have it.
One of the things that we saw early in the game is Roger McCreary Jr. fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
Vigor was able to strip it away from him. So as this game continues to progress, we've seen him play both sides of the football as well, be a punter. So he has to make sure that as time goes on, he continues to keep that football tighter to his body.
First down for Williamson. McCreary picks it up. The Lions on the move, approaching the midfield stripe. Once again, they're going back to the well. McCreary's got room on the outside and brought down right about at the 45-yard line.
Great tackle by the Darius Evans Busby. He has 2 interceptions on the season, but now has 12 solo tackles, as the Williamson Lions can ill afford for anybody to come up lane, as I do believe that's going to be number 17, Richardson, on the slow getting away.
He's trying to get off the field.
Yeah, and that's a situation that's unfortunate because there's not a lot of depth, and you look at Otis Hunter may have to come into the game for him. Also, Alexander Scott is an effective wide receiver also.
So Richardson just gets off the field, and we've got movement on the offensive line. I could see that from up here. That's going to go against Williamson, probably Caleb Graham. Citronelle all over Wilcox Central there, 43-6. So they're solidifying their place in 5A Region 1.
And now something we have not had yet this season is an overtime game on our broadcast. Something that's very possible, knotted up at 8 tonight.
That's right.
Both teams are going to have an opportunity to lay it all out on the field and leave it all out on the field is what we expected because, again, we mentioned the playoff implications. Williamson cannot drop to 0-3 in-region play.
No.
And Vigor doesn't want to give up their prized possession that they have because they still have to see Jackson and St. Paul's.
Sure do. Frank's running out, decides to keep it up the middle. Gets past the original line of scrimmage, maybe 1 or 2 yards. So I believe Coach Sumter's decision time right here, 3rd down, and the clock ticking, as you just alluded to it, Corey. Possibly overtime looming for us, and Coach Derek Scott calls timeout.
Well, one of the things in Corey's checklist was Vigor must play 4 quarters. Well, playing 4 quarters with 1:11 left, Coach Sumter's going to have a decision here to make about how much time he wants to continue to let run off of the clock. But with that being said, sometimes playing 4 quarters plus an overtime period may benefit Vigor Wolves because, again, we mentioned the Williamson Lions came in tonight only dressing out 28 players.
That's right.
One of their players gets ejected. Now they're down to 27. A lot of guys play both ways. You look at the checklist, play 4 complete quarters. Well, Vigor so far has been able to play 4 quarters and may play an additional one. They must prevent and produce explosive plays. We saw McCreary Jr. make an explosive play earlier, weren't able to prevent him from doing so. We've seen them be multiple on offense and throw the football probably more than we've seen them in the past, but that's critical so far in the flow of this game when you look at my checklist.
2 of those passes, interception by Jeff Thompson. So I know they would love to have those back, but they can't do it. We're tied up 8-8, 1:11 remaining here. Coach Derek Scott just called timeout. Chess match continuing between him and Coach Sumter. So here we are, 3rd and about 8 for Williamson. and looking to go over the top. Jump ball trying to get it to McCreary. Incomplete. Coach Sumter over there begging for a flag for some interference.
And
stops the clock.
On that third down situation, I probably would have liked to seen them run the football, make Vigor possibly burn another timeout. But now you know it's going to be punting time. We've seen high snaps early. You have to make sure that the exchange is clean between center and punter in this situation.
Seen them high and we've seen them low. That one led to pretty much setting Vigor up for that safety, which gave them an 8-0 lead earlier in the ball game. So Roger McCreary back to punt this ball. Eric Phelps Jr. back to receive it.
And Phelps Jr. is a difference maker. If he's able to turn this ball north and south, we know the blazing speed that he has. He's trying to prevent an overtime session here at Pritchard Stadium.
Saw what he did with the kickoff. McCreary gets off a good punt, got a little hang time there, and it bounces toward the Vigor end of the field. So Williamson benefits, and they're going to down that ball inside the 30-yard line. All right, Corey, put on your coaching hat. You've been doing a pretty good job calling plays tonight for Williamson. Your coach, Eric Scott, on the sideline, offensive coordinator, 53.4. You going for the win, or you going to play it safe here on homecoming and take this to overtime?
I want to go to overtime. I'm not even going to take a chance of throwing the deep ball, because if there's a pass interference call, all it will get is you 15 yards in that situation. You've seen Phelps Jr. We know he can kick it from about 25 yards.
Right.
But it's going to be hard to get in that type of field position. I want to play for overtime. Let's see how aggressive Coach Scott decides to be offensively.
Less than 1 minute remaining here in the contest. Walker back in the shotgun, and they are throwing it. They're going vertical. He takes off up the middle. He's got plenty of room. Gets the first down. And Coach Derek Scott yelling for the timeout. No, not the timeout. He's trying to get he's putting Eric Phelps Jr. in on offense, Corey.
And he's a speedster, so you let him get behind you and you put it up for grabs. We saw this Vigor offense run it to perfection against Baker earlier in the year and get down in the red zone area and go backwards and forward to stall. It's going to be interesting to see. No backs in the backfield for Vigor.
Artel Howard, Eric Phelps on the near side here with Sidney Williams up top, and they want to win this thing. Kyle Walker rolling out. He's got to keep it, and he's brought down, and that does not stop the clock. Clock continues to run. But Vigor has to eat the timeout. Maybe the young man could have thrown that one away, Corey. They had to burn the timeout. They were trying to go deep.
And in that situation, it's okay to call the timeout, because whether it's an incomplete pass or a timeout called, you have an opportunity to gather yourselves by calling the timeout. Get your team on the sidelines with you versus having them in the huddle. So that's a situation where you calm everybody down. You say, hey, guys, we can't afford to just throw this ball up for grabs, because we've seen crazier things happen on the last plays of game, to where there's a huge return or a couple of laterals to where they keep the ball alive. So the Wolfpack decided on first and second down to go ahead and go for the gusto and try to get this win. Nobody was open. Good defense by the Williamson Lions.
25.5 remaining here in the contest. Second down for the Vigor Wolves. Past two plays, they've been trying to go for this thing and make it happen. They picked up the first down but could not connect right there on 1st and 10. So Walker takes the loss. Maybe about 2nd and 13 here for the Vigor Wolves.
Watch Sidney Williams, closest to us at the bottom of your screen. He has blazing speed, as well as Artel Howell, both wide receivers. Get it done for the Vigor Wolves.
Williams has the height, 6'2", 175, and they're looking for him. Walker puts it out there, and two Williamson defenders. I thought Alexander Scott was going to stick his hands out and bring it into the breadbasket, but he doesn't.
We saw him do that earlier in tonight's contest. He might have conceded the interception of McCreary Jr. If he would have caught it, McCreary Jr., they probably would have run into each other.
Right.
But it's going to come down and be a 3rd down and 11 situation now. The Wolfpack have to decide probably to run the football here and play for overtime.
Third down for Vigor. appears as if they are going to try to go to the air once again. Trips at the top. Walker steps up into the pocket. He's sacked. Got to protect that pigskin, Corey. Kind of had it out there.
It was very loose, and in that situation, as he was going to the ground, Devon Treywick made the tackle on the play. 9.3 seconds remaining. A little bit surprised that they did not decide to run the football and take this into a situation to where you get loose with the football. We've already seen one scoop and return for the Williamson Lions. We've seen a couple of interceptions as well. With that being said, I understand Vigor wanted to go for the gusto and try to get out of here, but looks like we're going to be heading to overtime. But the more critical part is, if they don't decide to punt this football, they can run backwards and then decide to take the knee as much as they can without getting a safety called, because this does bring up 4th down for the Vigor Wolves.
It does. Coach Derek Scott called a timeout here to discuss some things. And I'm sure he's not going to call a timeout to take the victory formation. It's 4th down. You don't want to do that. That'll stop the clock change over. So he's got to run one play here, as you said, Corey. But I wonder what that one play is going to be.
Well, you look at the Williamson line defense, they're going to make sure that nothing gets behind them defensively. If the ball is punted or quick kicked, it's going to be quickly downed, and probably time is going to expire, and we are going to go to overtime. But Kyle Walker is going to have one last desperation heave as the Williamson Lions are putting their defense 10 yards off of the ball and only going to rush 3.
Walker hands it off to Jalen Whitsitt. He's brought down. 4th down. The clock is continuing to run. The officials did not stop it. I see one official trying to, and the clock is now stopped at 1.4 seconds. But Tim Porter saying wind that clock, and Corey, you're right. It looks like we're going to overtime. The clock's at 0 and the score's tied 8-8 here at Pritchett Municipal Stadium. I told you we were going to have a doozy tonight, and that is what it is. 8-8 as we're headed to overtime. The MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you by Spring Hill Toyota.
And let's talk about how the overtime period works. Both teams will be allowed the possession of the football, both teams having to score. If you're not able to score in this situation in overtime, we will play another one. The first team to score, let's say Vigor wins the toss and they elect to go ahead and take the football and they're able to get a field goal, well, Williamson will be allowed to answer that score as well. So it's going to be an interesting situation. We talked about the constriction of the play calls when you get down into the red zone area.
Right.
You better make sure that you dot all your I's and cross all your T's, because as an offensive coordinator, you know that playbook's not expanded when the ball is spotted at that 10-yard line. It kind of constricts itself. It'll be interesting to see if Vigor decides to come out in that power I formation and run the ball downhill right at the Williamson Lions, or whether they decide to pull out the trickeration.
Right.
Offensively for the Williamson Lions, we saw that great throwback pass in the back of the end zone for the two-point conversion.
That's right.
So you know, again, time and situation is very evident by both of these coaching staffs.
We're going to take a break right here, and we're going to come back with overtime. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Spring Hill Toyota.
To be in the AP program, it not only offers you great opportunities in the classroom, but also outside. Like being a member of the AP program, I can come into college already being a sophomore in college, so I can completely skip 1 year just by completing all my AP credits and by taking the classes and passing the exams. I would recommend other students to take AP classes because being a member of the program offers so many benefits and helps you decide what you want to do in the future and where you want to go with your life.
Our mission at Vigor.
Corey, we are back. We jumped the gun a little bit there. Change of possession. It appears as if the officials are going to allow Williamson to have one untimed down.
And Vigor safeties are 30 yards down the field. They're not going to allow Roger McCreary Jr. to beat them. If you look at Felch Jr. as well as Sidney Williams, they're going to shade to the strong side of the field, in which you have Roger McCreary Jr. lined up. Going to be a delay of game.
Team, 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
I can't believe it, Corey. It took 48 minutes the entire ball game. That is our first delay of game because there is no play clock functioning here at Pritchard Stadium.
With that being said, Breland Franks is going to have to give it the old heave-ho and give it all he has. We saw the crazy finish to the Washington Redskins Kansas City Chiefs game the other night. They're going to have to be a lot of laterals thrown.
Maybe a good old hooking lateral here. Franks airs it out. A lot of Wolves in there trying to bat it down, and they do just that. So now it's official. Regulation time has ended, and we're going to head into overtime now as Williamson was granted one untimed down after the change of possession. Corey, I have to say this is my first overtime broadcast with the Mobile County Public School System TV network, but I know last year you had an opportunity to watch, what was that, Davidson and Jackson over at last stadium. They went, what, 3 or 4 overtimes in that game?
Very dynamic finish, and when you give both teams an opportunity to score, that's what you love. I mean, you don't want it to be a sudden death situation like the NFL has turned it into, but when you get both teams at the 10-yard line, extra possessions, it's going to be fifth quarter play. Again, we talked about Williamson only having 27 guys available here in the fourth quarter. Now going into overtime.
Right.
Great finish.
MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. We're notched up 8-8, and it's official. We'll be back with overtime. Don't move.
Our mission at Vigor High School is to graduate students who are college and career ready and produce students who are productive citizens in our ever-changing world. The faculty and staff are committed to providing a variety of opportunities to meet the needs of all of our students.
We offer all kinds of educational opportunities here for our students, and we are proud of what we do.
Hello, I'm Helena Tyler. I would like to invite you to join me for Inside Education. Come with us as we take a look at what's happening around Mobile County Public Schools, as well as what's happening in your child's classroom. That's Inside Education, right here on the MCPSS TV network.
In Mobile County Public Schools, we are redefining ready. We are graduating college ready, career ready, and life ready. We are more than just a test score. We are earning college credit while in high school. We are working internships to get real-world experience. We are welders. We are certified nursing assistants. We are redefining ready.
Welcome back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Spring Hill Toyota. And Corey, I know next weekend is the fifth quarter classic, but guess what? You've got the fifth quarter classic right here now for free as we're going in overtime. 8-8, Williamson and Vigor, 5A Region 1. You gotta love it.
You look at this Vigor program as 467
heck of a
wins.
ball game. Y'all speak your mouthpieces
And
out,
now
make
we're
sure
gonna
we're
go-
here. Just like we did the last time. You will have a choice, offense or defense, or into the field. Both coaches have already told me what they want, so y'all are really out here just to call it heads or tails, okay? Number 3, so again, it's the Sacagawea. You called heads, is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
You called heads. It is tails. You, sir, have won the toss, and your coach has instructed you to play defense.
Yes,
is that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Which end of the field do you want to defend? This way, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, turn around this way.
Okay.
You turn around and face them. Let's put the ball on the 10-yard line and let's go this way.
Corey, Tandarian Dell and Alexander Scott on the field right there. Great audio from the guys in the truck, allowing Tim Porter to explain it to the young men on the field.
Yeah, and that's what boils down to. You're going to get the ball on the 10-yard line. Vigor's going to have an opportunity to see and put the pressure on Williamson's offense. So let's see how this game's going to transpire, Al. Going down, like you said, fifth quarter classic here at Pritchard Stadium a week early.
Oh, yeah, we're loving it, man. Our first overtime broadcast of the season right here on the MCPSS TV network. Vigor going to be trying to get the ball into the end zone, but, of course, Williamson will get an opportunity to counter as well. So it's important to score the touchdown. You don't want to get the field goal because that allows the other team, if they score a touchdown, it's over.
It's going to be big. It's going to see right here come down to execution here in the overtime session.
So make sure you stay with us right here. Action's about to happen. Williamson coming out on the field. Vigor chose to play defense there, which is very smart. If they shut Williamson out, all they have to do is get a field goal, and this thing is over.
Well, again, you had the success on the two-point conversion. Run it to Nehemiah Richardson as he came and slipped through the backfield on his tight end delay. Right here, I give the ball to Roger McCreary and let him pound out positive yards for the Lions.
First and goal there. McCreary has the ball, and he's got those legs moving. It'll be second down for Williamson.
Positive yards on first down, and you look at Vigor's defense. Desmond Little does a good job trying to strip the ball free. As you look at the replay, positive yards, clean handoff. McCreary gets beyond the line of scrimmage, brought to the ground by Desmond Little, trying to strip the ball away. Second and goal here in overtime for the Williamson Lions.
Nice gang tackling by the Wolves there to bring him down. Yeah, they're going to feed him the rock. I believe that. Roger McCreary back in the backfield. Lined up in that pistol formation behind Franks. No, they fake it to him on the RPO. Franks around the edge. He's got room. Corey dives into the end zone. The ball is loose. The ball did cross the plane. It goes out of the back of the end zone, and they are motioning a touchback.
And Breland Franks appeared to hurt his wrist because he runs off the sidelines. He did not cross the plane. There's going to be no replay.
Did not cross the plane.
Did not cross the plane. I don't think he crossed the plane. Let's see what the officials decide to say as he dives in. No replay on the.
And Coach Derek Scott out on the field excited because he knows with that touchback, they're getting the ball. Eric Phelps Jr. coming up with it.
And let's look at the replay as we just did. Breland Franks, the quarterback, decided to take it out of the gut of the running back, Roger McCreary. Great job by the truck pulling up the replay. There he goes, bringing it out of the gut. Franks around left in. Looks like he's going to score, attempts to dive, and as he tries to cross, it's knocked loose and knocked out of the back of the end zone. Now all Vigor has to do is get a field goal or a touchdown, and it's ball game.
And that's ball game, that's right. Unbelievable, Corey.
Turnovers, something you haven't seen a lot of since the first quarter by the Williamson Lions, comes to bite them in overtime. But we saw deep in the red zone area early in the first quarter, this Williamson Lion defense was bending but did not break. Let's see if they can do it here in overtime.
Vigor Wolves fans up on their feet, encouraging the Wolfpack to get on the board right now. Hand off to Jalen Whitsitt, wrapped up and tackled for a loss. That Williamson defense taking a stand right now. Second down for Vigor, and a late flag possibly taunting there. You could see some of the Williamson defenders kind of motioning at Whitsitt, and I believe that's going to be unsportsmanlike. Not a good opportunity for that call at all.
Kimberly Dunn talked about it, how Coach Dedrick takes very much pride
Coach
in
Sumter.
his Sumter taking pride in his defense being disciplined.
Dead ball, unsporting. The defense penalty is half the distance, second down.
Mental mistake on Leo Brown right there. Oh, my goodness.
That's huge, Al, when you look at this situation. But, again, the Williamson Lion defense had him stopped in the backfield. Now you give him half of the yards back. The Wolfpack going to have 3 opportunities here.
Second down, ball on the 5-yard line. Hand off to Whitsitt. Wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Takes it to third down.
It's been tough running in between the tackles by either team all night long. We talked about that earlier in the game, and that trend remains to hold true in this situation. Williamson Lions down to their last 2 downs. We've seen Eric Phelps Jr., though, be productive, had his extra point blocked as they scored the first touchdown. Third down, 2-down territory. I think Vigor will be in good shape here.
Phelps Jr. on the sideline walking and talking. I can see him with his players there saying, it's no worries, I'm back here. Oh, Witz has got a full head of steam, Corey, and it's a touchdown. Ball game over. Vigor wins 14-6 on the touchdown, the 5-yard run by Jalen Whitsitt. I know Williamson is heartbroken.
You look at Jalen Whitsitt, gets his 7th rushing touchdown of the season. Great offensive play call by Coach Scott. Decides to get some push. Running downhill was Whitsitt. The rest is history, and a huge 5A Region 1 victory secured by the Vigor Wolves here at Pritchard.
Way to do it for homecoming night overtime. All the seniors are going to remember this one forever. The night Jalen Whitsitt won homecoming with the 6-yard run in overtime as the Vigor Wolves take over the field. Unbelievable, unbelievable game, Corey.
You look at the replay, just a tall sweep. You had your big guys pulling to Darian Dale with the key block. But again, where was that success? Bounce to the outside.
That's right.
Nothing in between the tackles and the guards. Decided to go ahead, bounce it, and get that outside performance. Another great finish, 2nd week in a row by the Wolfpack. Go ahead and securing a huge region win in 5A.
You talked about it earlier, Corey. Running between the tackles, not very successful. Bouncing it to the outside. Last week, LaFleur and Vigor had success. This week, Williamson and Vigor had success outside. And what did it do? Went back to the well and went outside and got the win tonight.
I love this game. It was a great finish. I thought the first team that scored would have an opportunity to win. You thought Breland Franks was going in. He fumbles the ball, goes into a touchback situation at the 1-inch line.
Unbelievable
Heartbreaking for Coach Sumter and the Williamson Lions, but great resolve playing 4 quarters +1 with the Vigor Wolves finding a way to finish.
Hey, I have to give it up to the Williamson Lions. I talked about that on the air today when I was interviewed on WNSP. The kids have heart. They may be small in size and small in stature, but they do not give up. That's one thing Coach Sumter talks about, his team having heart every game.
And Vigor found a way to battle back despite the explosive plays and the light switch that went on in the 4th quarter by the Williamson Lions. Yeah. They were getting points off turnovers. Both teams were able to do so. Just a fantastic finish here at Pritchard Stadium.
Absolutely. Roger McCurry and the whole crew for Williamson, great effort tonight. Let's take it down to the sidelines. Kimberly Dunn's down on the field with head coach, winning coach, Derek Scott.
Coach Scott, what a game. What does this win mean to y'all tonight?
Oh, this is huge for us right now. We are, that's what, 4 in a row right there. So, and I think, you know, if I'm not mistaken, it gives us opportunity to possibly be playoff eligible. So that's what it was for us. And give credit to Coach Sumter and his staff and those guys. He got a great guy. He got a great bunch of guys over there. They're senior laden over there, and they really played their tails off, and it was a great high school football game.
Yeah, so how do you feel about your team's performance overall tonight?
Once again, these guys just find a way to win, and I'm just happy for W's. I'll take them any way we can get them. We ain't going to give them back. Of course, I would love to play better and score more points, but a W is a W, and we're going to take it.
All right, thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you guys. Thank y'all for all you do.
Yes.
Thank you, Kimberly, down there on the field with head coach Derek Scott. Vigor gets the win tonight. Wow, I told you the 5th quarter classic is next week, and we have the 5th quarter classic tonight. So for all the guys in the truck, Kimberly Dunn on the sideline, Corey LeBounty, I'm Al Whedon. Thank you for joining us for another edition of the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Vigor wins it 14-8 in overtime. You have a great evening.